Ross, what's up, man? What's good with you, bro?
Man, long weekend, man. Long weekend, man. That Ravens loss really hit me in the heart, but I'm good, man. I'm good, man. What's up with you?
Yeah, that's the first thing that I'm thinking about in my mind, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that really pissed me off. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm feeling a way about it, but that pissed me off more than anything. And I get it. Lamar Jackson had to give, the PC, you know, basically response or whatever. Pissed me off more so than anything else is when you are a wideout, when you are a tight end, your job, and it's a very simple job, is you're supposed to catch the fucking ball. Like,
Gotta catch the ball,
there's
man.
no way around that. You got to catch the ball. You can't drop the ball. All of this, well, we made mistakes throughout the course of the game and all of that. I get all of that. But here's the thing. If anybody's played football, anybody understands the sport of football, no one's gonna be fucking perfect, a whole game, especially a playoffs game, like you said. And you mentioned that thing so eloquently when you said every one possession is gonna be like three possessions
It's gonna be at
on
three
the
possessions.
field
Yeah.
because of the fact that everything is amplified. Every mistake you make is amplified, and you were absolutely right about that. But come on, like the ball was in your hands,
Gotta catch
and
that,
you
man.
just had butterfingers all of a sudden, and you drop the ball. That isn't indicative on if a guy's skillful or not. You know what that's indicative of? That's indicative of a guy choking. That's a
Yeah.
indicative of a choker. And that's a problem that you really have to look at. The problem with
Right.
the problem with a lot of teams in sports, when they got a guy that so-called is good, right, in the regular season, or a guy that's putting up numbers, and this is in all respective sports, they overlook the fact that because the guy's able to do great in every other area, minus the playoffs. Oh, this is just a learning lesson. This is just a phase. He's gonna get over it. No, when you see a guy's able to not handle pressure and be butterfingers like that, he wasn't butterfingers throughout the regular season. He wasn't butterfingers
Not
leading
like
up.
that. Yeah. He wasn't dropping. That's equivalent to missing a layup. I
Exactly.
play I played football. That pass was soft, right in his hands. That was all mental. It wasn't a hard or like he had to jump up and reach and get it. It was soft in his hands. Like Lamar Jackson threw it to a way where a 5-year-old could have caught that football. You know how you throw the
Exactly.
ball to a 5-year-old, like you just lay it up there so it falls. There was no reach for him to drop that ball, man. It looked like he did it on purpose, man. I'm
That
not
was
trying to
indicative. Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be the conspiracy theorist, but as a professional, as someone who catches the ball, I don't understand how he dropped that football.
Exactly.
But see, when I realize when it comes to Lamar Jackson, there's this thing in psychology called attribution bias. And a
Yep.
lot of narcissistic parents use this, right? So let's say, for instance, if the child who does something wrong in the crib, the child that they like, they blame everybody. Why did y'all let him do this?
Hmm.
But in all other cases, they either blame the oldest child for everything. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Attribution bias, like the blame is not distributed perfectly across the board to the people who deserve it, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
you're not biased and you watch the game, then you'll realize one thing: Lamar Jackson does have to be better because 2 turnovers are big. But you'll also notice another thing. Here's the context. Do you know how many Super Bowl winning quarterbacks won Super Bowls with two turnovers in the game?
Hmm.
Damn near all of them had Super Bowls where they didn't play their best when they still won those games. Why? Because their teammates didn't let them down. You think Tom Brady comes
Exactly.
back 28-3 with teammates like Baltimore Ravens? He came back because they all did their damn
Exactly.
jobs. You can't come back
Yep.
and win with a team like the Ravens because they're gonna drop the ball at some point. They're gonna miss a tackle at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is this:
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Mark Andrews, because he has to catch. That wasn't his first drop. He had several drops and a fumble. He got to catch that football.
Exactly.
But you know who I'm on the most? John Harbaugh, man.
Yeah.
There's no discipline on this team outside of Lamar Jackson. Like, bro, why is it that Lamar Jackson has to tell you, I think we should practice outside today? We got to practice outside to get ready for the cold. Why aren't you telling them that? He's like, yeah, that's a good idea, Lamar. Yeah, let's do that. That's not a good idea. That's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's a good idea? You about to go to Buffalo. You didn't have the idea that we need to practice in the elements? That wasn't your idea? Your quarterback has to bring that idea? That's ridiculous, man. Also, at one point, are you going to pull Stevens, dude on defense? He gives up big plays every play. If you look for wherever he's guarding, they're always wide open. At what point are you going to sit there, man? Why was Mark Andrews even in the game on that play? He's been dropping passes all game. You put your best player in that play. That should have been likely.
Mm-hmm.
Not Andrews. Andrews should have even been in that play. Like these are
basically you're blaming the head coach, you're blaming the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. Basically, anyone that wears the tag of coach failed in that game.
Yeah, I'm giving proper context because it's lazy journalism. Because believe it or not, we're doing these live streams. Mm-hmm. We're reporting on this. We're doing journalistic duty, whether we like it or not. We're not like official journalists, but with media passes. But and it's our job not to be lazy. It's very lazy to say Lamar Jackson. He's the reason why they lost. Two turnovers. Exactly. That's lazy. That's very lazy. He attributed to it. Don't get no mistake about it. He attributed to it, but he also brought the team back and put them in the position to win.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like everybody was doing their job perfectly, and Lamar Jackson just sat back and just gave the ball to the other team, or he sat back and just. There was things that happened that led up to that.
Facts.
When you're in a shotgun, and you get a snap, the snap supposed to hit you here.
Yep.
If you watch the Ravens all year long, do you know what's happening on these snaps? This should have been rectified before the playoffs. Lamar Jackson always having the one-hand snaps to the right. One hand him to the left. One hand him up here. One hand him down here. He's never getting the snap where it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. At this time, it bit them in the ass. Because you never supposed to have to turn around to get a snap, man. So he turns around. No, it went over his left shoulder. He turns around to get the snap. And by the time he regathers, guess what? Defender right here in his face.
Exactly.
He jukes him. Boom. Because that's how he plays football.
Yep.
I'm not going to just give it. He jukes him. And then next thing you know, somebody else is around his legs. And he fumbles.
Yep.
Should he have went straight down? A more unathletic quarterback would have went straight down because they can't do what he does. But he shouldn't have been in the predicament in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's context.
Richie Rich,
context
what's up,
is
man?
He fumbled. What's up, Richie Rich? Is Mike?
Yeah, we can't hear you, bro.
But at the same time, what I was saying is, it's easy just to say, yeah, Lamar Jackson, he's the reason why they lost. That's very easy. He played a part. But you have to ask yourself, when you watch those games, there was always 3 or 4 plays leading up to the turnover.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happened right before that turnover? Mark Andrews dropped another wide open pass. He was wide open.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen on championship teams. Travis Kelce don't do that to Mahomes. We have to keep it a buck. Do Travis Kelce drop those passes? No. And if he drops a pass, you would be damn sure to know that he's going to redeem himself at the end of the game.
Exactly.
Wide open passes galore again, dropped all over the field, man. So we can't just put it at him. We got to understand, these teams are losing. The Baltimore Ravens teams are losing because it's coming from the head down. They're not prepared for these games.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson was prepared, and likely was prepared. Um, Hamilton, Humphreys, these guys was ready to play. The whole team was not ready to play, man.
You could see it, man. You could see the frustration on the sidelines when Lamar Jackson basically.
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Well, I can hear you, bro, loud and clear.
Okay.
What about you, Richie Rich? Yeah, we still can't hear you, man.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I hear you now. Right. I hear you now.
Yeah, so going back to the Lamar Jackson, man, you could see like on the sidelines, Lamar Jackson was pissed, man. I know because I played the quarterback position, and that position, when you don't make the plays, you start thinking in your mind from the beginning of the game all the way towards the end, all of the mistakes that you've made. You hold yourself accountable. So when you start seeing how close a game is and a guy drop a ball, you're already holding yourself accountable. You're already like, fuck, what if I would have done this? What if I wouldn't have done that? But at the same time, you also know the weak links on your team, and you also know the guys that really, like, in your mind, you're like, damn, if I didn't pass the ball to this guy, if I would have made the play a different way, how would this game would have turned out? But if you look at the way the play was generated, Lamar Jackson made the right play as a quarterback, because based on what he was given, there was no reason for him to run. If he would have ran, he actually would have lost yards.
Right.
Because of the fact that it was snowy condition, his ability to move was really hampered. So the only thing that he had open was that pass to Mark Andrews. And Mark Andrews was in a perfectly tucked position to where all he had to do was secure the ball, because he was guaranteed to get those 2 points exactly where he was positioned. So him tripping on himself, him not basically standing up to the plate to make the pass, that's indicative on a guy who, when you're in a pressurized situation, you can't handle it. He's Butterfingers not because he can't catch the ball. He's Butterfingers because the pressure was too much for him. We got to call a spade here, man. Because he perfectly tucked the ball in his hands. You cannot give a guy a ball that smooth, that perfect, for him to then take the ball and then just basically act like, oh my gosh, this is the hardest pass ever. He didn't throw a bullet at him. He didn't throw it to his chest. He didn't do none of those things. And we know when quarterbacks throw that shit hard. You could just look at the guy's face. His face lets you know. His face was like, I'm catching pillows and I can't even hold the pillow that's in my hands. That's a Mark Andrews problem.
It looked like he dropped it on purpose. That's how unimaginable it was that he dropped it. But even then, I feel like just blaming it all on Mark Andrews is lower hanging fruit. A whole lot of shit happened in that game. I done played on winning football teams, and I'm telling you, what's happening with the Ravens started at the top. It started at the top. Just think about the Bulls. You remember when Scottie Pippen got pulled out of the game because Scottie started acting up? Real coaches don't mind pulling top players out the game. If you are a detriment to the team at this moment, you're coming out the game. There's no reason why Mark Andrews is even in that game.
Exactly.
Every time the ball came to him, when Lamar needed him the most, he dropped the ball. So it's not as simple as Lamar Jackson can't get it done. Because it's not like his teammates are doing everything. Like he's LeBron James with an all-star team and he's just missing free throws. No, this dude's getting put in impossible situations. And if you watch the Ravens so much, you know when the Ravens are going to lose. The games always start the same when the Ravens are going to lose. The first play of the game, they drop a pass off the rip. When the Ravens are going to lose the game, it's kind of like you could, if you're a betting man, I'm telling you, this is how the Ravens always lose the games. And this is how you know it seems like it's kind of red. First play of the game, they're going to drop a pass. They're going to drop a third down pass for a first down. It's going to happen. Boom. Next, you know, the team going to pick on Stevens. Stevens is a cornerback he's in the secondary. Everybody's always wide open. They never pull him, man. They're going to pick on Stevens, throw a bomb. Justin Tucker going to miss 2 or 3 field goals every time they lose. for the most part, when Justin Tucker started missing field goals, you know the Ravens going to lose. And last but
Exactly.
not least, John Harbaugh is going to make a decision that's not going to make any damn sense at all. That 2-point conversion didn't make no damn sense. There was no need for that. None. Richard, what you guys say?
Yeah, man. So far, I mean, I totally agree with you guys. You know, Mark Andrews, he really cost the team in that defining moment. You know, he had 2 turnovers. Well, he had a turnover. He fumbled the ball. One of the passes that Lamar Jackson threw to him, he fumbled that pass, and he had the 2-point conversion at the end that he dropped, which would have tied the game and brought it to overtime. But you know, that team, man, I just don't know. I think we've seen the best from that team. You know, obviously Lamar was missing Zay Flowers, that his receiver, who got injured a couple weeks ago, and I just had a feeling that they were going to lose this game if that guy was not able to play, because that took a weapon away from Lamar, and you already know what you're going to get out of Lamar and Derrick Henry, but that was a tough game to just, you know, like spam and run the football in, because the Bills, they were doing a decent job on Henry, man. Henry he was able to score a touchdown, but he really had to work in that game for his yards. They made him work for every yard. So that was not a game where you could just hand Derrick Henry the ball 25 times and expect you to go win the game. The Bills, they were dialed in on defense. Lamar, he didn't help with those 2 early turnovers.
He did.
But I felt that he was able to get the team back in the game, at least to make it a game, give themselves an opportunity to bring it into overtime. But Mark Andrews, he failed him at the end by dropping that pass. And the defense, they could have played better in that game, because they allowed the Bills to control the game most of the duration of that game. They didn't really like step up until the fourth quarter, you know.
Right.
But the problem what's happening is Lamar's gonna get the blame, man, because you know how it is. It's just pressure, because Pat Mahomes is winning all these Super Bowls, and you know, like, they're starting to get on these guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, Pat Mahomes, he's trying to get to 4. He's already on 3. He's trying to get to 4.
Yeah, but let me just say this, Richie. And now I'm not gonna mess up your point, but let me just say this. What people don't realize is this: football is the hardest sport to play because 2 guys
53.
on the fucking
53.
field, 53 guys on the field. It's not a sport where it's just one guy, man. It's dependent upon everybody and the coaching staff on top of that. Football is not a sport where teams are expected to win. Winning one Super Bowl is as hard as it is. And winning it multiple times, that's like rare shit, man. This is special, unique stuff. So when people are sitting here acting like a guy's supposed to be winning over and over and over and over again, you have to have everything going right for you. Tom Brady had everything going right for him, as great as he was. Mahomes had everything going right for him, as great as he was. So Lamar Jackson has to have everything going right for him, as great as he was, i.e. Mark Andrews, catch the fucking ball so that we go into overtime. Now go ahead and say what you got to say, Ricky Rich.
Think about this. I'm going to give it right back to Ricky Rich. Think about this, man. The biggest difference is the supporting cast, because you got to ask yourself, Gronk is not dropping that football. Gronk ain't dropping. Now he's not dropping that football. He ain't dropping the football all damn game. Aaron
Hernandez ain't dropping that football.
Kelsey is not dropping that football. So you got to understand one thing. It's one thing. Now, if Lamar Jackson misses that pass, throws it over his head, throws it to the ground, then Lamar Jackson jagged that football game. But that's the easiest pass that you can catch, man. When the ball comes like this, and you can look it in and know what's around you, That's the easiest shit in the world. He ain't had to.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you got to catch the hard one with your hands and pull it in. The ball came to where it like a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and bro dropped the ball. Go ahead,
Listen, man.
man.
I'll tell you this, man. Mark Andrews, that was a little. I was scratching my head because this guy is one of the better tight ends in football, man. I was puzzled how he had those errors in that game, those miscues, the fumble, and then the drop pass. That's a guy that normally doesn't have play like that on the field. You got your Travis Kelce's, your Kittles on San Francisco, your Dallas Goddard's on the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you got a guy like Mark Andrews. These are the guys that when you like you want to know who are the better tight ends in the game. Those are the guys. Those are the guys. That's the list right there. And I was a little puzzled seeing them, make those errors in that football game that were costly to the Ravens, man. And you kind of know a game like this you can't mess up in because they were I'm not gonna lie. I was watching all those shows, like Fox Sports, ESPN,
Right.
all these sports channels. They were actually praising Lamar Jackson this year because he was having a phenomenal season. His best touchdown to turnover ratio.
Right.
And I guess he was almost at 5,000 yards. He threw 30 plus touchdowns, and he only had like 5 interceptions. Man, that's like his best. That's like his best. Yeah. That's like his best season passer rating wise.
Right.
He's never had a season like that. I felt that he should. I felt that if he
nobody else ever had a season like that except for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Aaron
pretty
Rodgers
much.
was the only other quarterback in the NFL history to have a season like that.
Compared to his season from last season, I was like, nah, man. I don't know if he should have won MVP, but the last year that's debatable. But this year, yeah, he's an MVP in my eyes because he performed the best out of any quarterback this year. And you just look at his numbers. His numbers are like jaw dropping. But maybe this is not it's not his time. He don't have the right team. He don't got the right formula. So if he's going in there with this team, with this formula, he's not going to win. I don't see this team being able to beat a Chiefs or Buffalo Bills, especially if they don't have home field advantage. That's how they hurt themselves. They lost key games during the regular season that they should have won to make sure they were able to lock up home court advantage. You don't want to be in a situation where you got to go to the Buffalo Bills Stadium and have to win a tough game like that. Or the Chiefs. I don't see a team like that beating those teams if they don't have home field advantage.
You're making a point right there that's hard to refute. But I'm not going to refute your point because I can't refute that because it's the truth. But here's one thing I would like to put out there. In those losses that they should have won, those things they should have shored up by now. Because you know why they lost those games? The same way they lost this playoff game. They did not shore up anything. Blown secondary assignments.
Yeah.
Drop passes everywhere. They didn't shore up nothing. So I attribute that to coaching, right? Because you go through the regular season, to get better for the playoffs.
Facts.
In the playoffs, they're still having the same problems as in the regular season. They didn't shore up anything. The game, all throughout the game, they're dropping wide open passes. So we got to ask ourselves, what other quarterback has survived that and won? Because we talk about all these great quarterbacks. Which one of them survived that and won a Super Bowl? Which one? Because normally you see quarterbacks being carried. When they're having a bad game, they get carried. Like Lamar Jackson, the first quarterback that had 2 turnovers. He's the only one who can't win in those games because his team don't help him.
No, he's the one that gets over highlighted when he does have those 2 turnovers because the pressure on him is more double whammy. Because I've seen Jim Kelly make mistakes after mistakes after mistakes after mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. But you know what they tell you about him? Even though he's the greatest loser, he just kept going to the Super Bowl though. And what they tell you? They don't tell you the mistakes he made. that cost
Right.
the Buffalo Bills and why they didn't win. But they tell you, well, you just kept making it a Super Bowl, though. You see, this is the narrative that they're pushing. That's a double standard. How come one guy gets credit for constantly going to the big dance and losing, but Lamar Jackson this year, if there was any criticism that people could have said in the past, heck, even I was criticizing Lamar Jackson, and even Ross, and that's what I like. That's what I love about Ross. Ross is objective when it comes to rooting for a guy. If there's something that he's gonna point out, he's gonna say, "Yeah, you're right." But this year, you can't put nothing on fucking Lamar Jackson, man, and you can't put nothing on Derrick Henry. These motherfuckers showed up. So when you got a guy like Mark Andrews, it's indicative upon you. And you know who else I'm gonna give credit to in the Ravens? The O-line. Because the O-line did a great job in protecting. They don't get enough credit. They get a great job in protecting Lamar Jackson this year.
They got
so
better.
They honorable fucking mention. But Mark Andrews, come on, man. This is your time to have Lamar Jackson's back, especially with the pressure Lamar Jackson has to deal with on the media. He's dealing with a pressure that other quarterbacks are not dealing with. So have his back. Just like he had your back on that sideline, just like he had your back in that post game where he was like, man, it's on all of us. It's not just Mark Andrews. You better get your ass in that next season. And if I was you, I'd be fucking catching bricks with my hand. I'd be fucking busting my hands to the point to where my hands are bleeding to tell myself I never in my life will miss a fucking catch. That's the type of support that you need to be having for Lamar Jackson, because if a guy goes on national TV and puts the responsibility on him for your fucking Butterfingers, you better make sure next year you don't drop no motherfucking pass, man.
For real, man. And that's the reason why I said when it comes to Lamar, there's no context. It's either it's black and white. Like people forget that the NFL been around for over 100 years, man. For over 100 years. Why do you think every time Lamar Jackson has a good game, they say this has never been done before in 100 years of football? That he's doing things nobody has ever done. It's been around for a long time before our grandparents was around.
Yep.
So there's huge sample sizes of things that have happened in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. There's so many quarterbacks who have won with multiple turnovers.
Exactly.
A multiple turnover game is not a deal breaker. Because we've seen it. We've seen Pat Mahomes win a Super Bowl with multiple turnovers. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning got carried to his last Super Bowl with Denver. He was trash. He got carried to that last Super Bowl. We've seen quarterbacks not as good. Lamar Jackson win Super Bowls, so we're not going to say he cost them a Super Bowl. What we have to say is, I don't think the Ravens are ever going to win a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh as quarterback. I mean, as the coach. I don't. There's no discipline. These players don't fear John Harbaugh. They make the same mistakes over and over and over. Does this happen on an Andy Reid team? How many wide open touchdowns have you seen someone on Andy Reid's team drop? How many? They do this shit every year on the Ravens, and nobody gets disciplined. Mark Andrews is supposed to get pulled out the game as soon as he dropped that wide open pass. Not for the rest of the game, but as a reminder, dude. You get benched when you do something like that. You fumble, you're supposed to come out that game immediately, stand next to the coach and look stupid. That's what they do to basically put the spotlight on you. Like, you gotta do better. Like, no, he don't discipline none of the guys, man. And another thing this motherfucker do is Harbaugh cares more about the players that he likes and likes him than winning. Because if John Harbaugh don't like you, he will not play you, man.
Yep.
It's guys that he could use right now that can help win games, and he won't play them. He had Deontay Johnson and didn't even play him. You had he had Reggie Wayne and fucking Randy Moss on the team. Why you not playing Deontay Johnson? He's better than all your receivers put together.
Yeah, well, the Deontay Johnson part, I heard about that. That guy is difficult to play with, man.
He became difficult after the third game because he's watching Nelson Aguilar drop wide open passes. He's not in the game. Now That's an actor I seen him to be on that team. He just dropped 8 wide open passes this year.
And it's easy to deal with difficult players. With difficult players, the way you handle them is you don't have to massage their egos, but you just got to make sure they play enough. One, and two, you just got to make sure they're involved. That's how you deal with difficult players. When they're getting touches and they're involved and they feel like they're a part of something, they're not gonna be as difficult, man. That's how you manage difficult people. We've all had to manage difficult people. That's how you deal with them. As long as they feel that they're a part of something, they're gonna be less difficult. The bottom line is you can graduate your ability to pass. Richie, you can tell the whole world, the reason why your hands is lethal is because you remember how we used to practice. I used to throw the ball like a bullet at you over and over and over again. You used to bleed in your hands because you had to catch the ball. So I know a person can graduate to a level to where their hands become so good to where they can catch the ball. You can force, and I'm going to say this because this generation of folks don't understand this, but you can force somebody to become great if you really, really push them and they really, really want it. Mark Andrews dropping the damn ball is indicative of a guy who's not getting out there and practicing over and over. If I'm playing with Lamar Jackson and I'm Mark Andrews, I'm making sure before snaps I'm catching the ball. There's such a thing. You don't even need a human being. There's such a thing. You know how in baseball you have those motors that throw baseballs at you, but they throw it at you at a certain miles per hour. You have that shit in
jug
football.
machine. Jug machine.
You
They
have,
got that.
what's it called again?
It's a jug machine. They have that.
A jug machine. They have that shit in football now. You can have a jug machine right in front of you as a fucking wideout before every game. Adjust the mileage on what you want the jug machine to be and start catching fucking balls before the game happens. That way your hand is ready. It's always ready because, like that famous motivational speaker, Craig Lewis always say, you ain't got to get ready if you stay fucking ready, man.
Right.
If you ready to catch the balls and you catching balls before game, by the time game time comes, your hand is ready. But if you sitting there not doing what you're supposed to, riding on your laurels, thinking that, I'm good enough. I've had some great receptions. No, this is the playoffs. This is where you go out there and you individually look at yourself and say, you know what? We already got a monkey on our back as the Ravens. My guy, Lamar Jackson, as a quarterback, because you got to understand, football, the quarterback is the leader. And as everybody on that team, you have to take on a personal responsibility to protect your quarterback. What happened to those days, man? When guys used to want to protect their quarterback and be about their quarterback. You remember those football days where you get in the quarterback's face, guys will go, you hit the person's quarterback, the person will turn around and hit the other team's quarterback to send a message. Don't you fuck with my quarterback. What happened to those days?
I'm gonna tell you what happened. Those days haven't changed. It's just different for Lamar Jackson because people realize, as long as everybody focuses on him, they won't hold me accountable. But you know what? Something switched last year when Lamar Jackson won that MVP. Mm-hmm. Now they hold people around him more accountable than they used to. Because these things aren't just popping up out the blue. I'm gonna say this real quick and get it back to Richie Rich. I know he ain't coming just to watch us talking shit. These things are just coming out the blue, man. These issues with the Ravens have been an issue since Lamar Jackson been with the Ravens. If you watch this team, they've always had a problem with drop passes. Yep. This ain't just starting now. That's why I blame Harbaugh. He hasn't shored up nothing in 5 years. They always had a problem with drops. They always had a problem with losing in the playoff game. All of a sudden, nobody knows how to tackle. Nobody knows how to cover anybody. All of a sudden, they always had a problem with discipline, getting penalties in the most missed opportune times. Nothing has been fixed since 2018 around this young man. And that's John Harbaugh's fault. It's easy to say Lamar Jackson, everybody knows the quarterback always has to get better. Yeah. Even Tom Brady will tell you, I'm always getting better. Tom Brady has never said he perfected anything. Quarterbacks always have to get better. We know that that's a given. But how much better can you be if the things around you all of a sudden, when it means the most, start crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, y'all want to play a different style of football. All of a sudden, in the playoffs, it looks like they running this man career in the ground. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't have no proof of that, and that's a conspiracy theory. But when you think about how many things they have not fixed since 2018, the core problems are still the core problems. No matter who they got around Lamar, they still struggle with drops. How, man? 5 years later, they still struggle with drops.
Yeah.
They still struggle with bar security. Still. Now, in that playoff game, Lamar didn't help. But throughout the season, Lamar only had 4 interceptions, and 3 of them came off drop passes.
I can't help. You know what this relives in my mind? You know what this relives in my mind? Lamar Jackson is going through what Kobe went through from 04 to 08, bro.
Yep.
Not having as much around him, but having to do everything with not having as much around him, man. He's expected to do everything, but the talent is not all the way because his Derrick Henry is his Paul Gasol, but outside of that, who the fuck else does he have? That's the way that I look at it.
It's pretty simple. What's got to be done? The Ravens, they got to open up the checkbook. I mean, you got one receiver that's going to be available from Cincinnati, T. Higgins, man. That boy is a baller, bro. They gonna have to. That's one guy that's gonna have to be a priority for the Ravens, man. He could be their number 1 receiver, and then you could have Zay Flowers as the number 2. Mm-hmm. And you know that'll be a potent receiver tandem right there.
And guess what? T. Higgins ain't dropping no wide open pass in the end zone.
Exactly. I mean, they're gonna have to improve their roster around Lamar Jackson, the receiving corps, because you know,
and you need to get another tight end too. The only reason why I'm saying you need to get another tight end from probably a rookie or something like that, somebody good prospect, just to keep Mark Andrews honest. Just in case he starts fucking up again in the regular season, you got somebody as his replacement. You got to start considering that.
Likely is his replacement. The other tight end, likely he's pretty good. He caught a touchdown in that game. He caught the late touchdown in that game.
And think about this. Do you know how hard of a pass that is to catch?
Yeah.
That's a hard pass to catch. Mm-hmm. Because it's thrown in only a place where you could get it, and you got to get down before, because the ball moves so fast. You got to get down before the ball hit the ground. Yep. He dropped that pass as if he got one of those footballs.
Yep.
I'm sorry to keep revisiting this, but it looked like it was done purposely.
That's why I was pissed.
You can't drop that pass. I don't understand this.
Sometimes those type of passes, they slip through your hands, man. It's not a pass you can allow to slip through your hands, but it happens. It's happened before, and it will happen again.
I was pissed. Ross was pissed because Ross knows football. Ross has played football. Ross knows football, so he's pissed from that. Rich, you was pissed because you played wideout. I'm pissed because I've been at the QB position, and I know when you throw that ball, the way that you threw it, he threw it like a pillow. He threw it like feathers. There was no force behind it. There was no MPH. There was no miles per hour behind it. He tucked it.
A 5-year-old could have caught that football.
Come on, man. You tripping on yourself.
A 5-year-old.
You not catching that ball. The pressure was too big for you. Let's keep it a buck.
Right. Because you asked me, the way he ran that route was as if, the first time, because after a while you get used to fighting. But don't you know the first time when you got to fight the bully, and the bully be like, after school, I'm going to beat your ass, blase, blase. Uh-huh. And you remember how you looking at the clock, blase, blase. Yep. And you remember how you can't really feel your legs or your hands, and you got to get active with somebody who's known for fighting. Yep. That's how it looked like he ran that route. Like he couldn't feel his legs. Like he was just existing. Like he wasn't in control of himself. Right. He's already falling down for the ball. Get to that house. No one's around you. Mm-hmm. You're already falling. The play is meant for you. There's no reversal play. And that's another thing. They might need to go to the drawing board and make the play where there's another option. The only option is you. You're wide the fuck open. How do you drop that?
But how do you guys feel about the narrative? And I'm gonna let Richie Rich go first with it. But how do you feel with the narrative that's being pushed now. They're saying Lamar Jackson is being blamed for Mark Andrews' drop pass, and now you know what they're highlighting? They're highlighting Lamar Jackson is 3-5 in the playoffs. How do you guys feel about that? That's what they've been
Go
posting.
ahead. Yeah, Richard, you could go first because we've been over talking you. So.
I don't feel like Lamar Jackson should be blamed for Mark Andrews' drop pass. It's the receiver that dropped the ball. It's the reason why they're no longer in this race anymore. You know what I'm saying? If he grabs the ball, if he catches that ball, there's continuation of that game. There's still an opportunity for them to win the ball game and advance to play the Chiefs. But you already know everything is going to be have a micro lens on it because Lamar is starting to get older, and Pat Mahomes. Like I said, I'm gonna bring up Pat Mahomes. He's on 3. He's trying to get to 4. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these, if Pat Mahomes wins that 4th Super Bowl, a lot of these quarterbacks are going to be put on notice. It's going to be even more pressure. That's what it's all about, man. It's about that dude in number 15 on Kansas City, man. That dude has been stocking up on rings, man. And these other guys, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, who else? These other guys, they don't got the rings yet. And if he keeps winning more, they're gonna be all of them are gonna get that pressure put on their backs. That's what it's about.
Right, you're right. They don't. The way I see it is, the 3-5 record is fair because as a leader, you get unfair praise sometimes, and you get unfair criticism sometimes. I know some of that comes with being a quarterback. But the type of criticism Lamar Jackson gets is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, he's the only one that would get blamed for that drop. See what I'm saying? It's not the normal criticism you get. The normal criticism you will get is, at this point in your career, you got to get it done. That's normal because they put in that type of pressure.
Yeah.
They did it to all the greats. What's not normal is how they blame shit that got nothing to do with him on him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they lose the game because the defense is giving up massive chunk plays, that don't have nothing to do with him. If when they lose the game because he throws a pick 6, that does have something to do with him. If they lose the game because the tight end can't hold on to the ball, how is that his fault? How do you manipulate your analysis to say, well, Lamar Jackson should have threw the ball faster? If he can't catch the ball in a feathery way, wide open, he would have dropped the bullet too.
Exactly.
It's cold as hell outside. Do they know how hard it is to catch the ball when it's cold? The only reason we're on these people because they're professionals. If we're playing a pickup game and I throw the ball to you hard and it's cold outside, I would be mad you drop it, but I wouldn't be super mad because you're not a professional athlete. When you're a professional, I expect you to catch that ball. But if I throw you a feathery pass, like I would throw to a 5-year-old, and you drop it, now I'm looking at you like you dropped that on purpose. Cause ain't no way in hell you dropped that, man. You know what I'm saying? You did that on purpose. That's what it's looking like. It looked like Mark Andrews got a call, like you better not catch that damn pass. That's what it's looking like. Now that's a conspiracy. I have no proof for that. But what I'm telling you is that we've been watching football for a long time. We're all the same age. We've been watching football for a long time. We could count on our hands how many times we see someone drop a pass like that. We could, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is rare that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's catch that pass or go home. That's what it's about. It's for all. It's to stay in it. If you drop the pass, that's it. That's your season. Most of the time, guys they show up and they catch that pass. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when we used to play? Remember when we used to play football, Richie Rich, and somebody drop a pass like that? Remember what we used to do? Ross probably did the same shit too with his crew. We benched that motherfucker.
I'm going crazy.
We benched that motherfucker, and we tell them straight up, "You ain't playing no more in this game. Fuck that shit. You don't cost us because we know what a catch like that does for a game. We know that doesn't cost the game. Yo, guess what? The motherfucker don't get an opportunity to even return back in the game. And he's sitting there on the sidelines mad as hell, looking like he want to fight all of us. And we keep telling him, we keep reminding him while we playing the game. Nah, you ain't coming back in this shit. You drop that, you ain't coming back.
Yeah.
You ain't coming back. Hell no.
Man. But at the same time, the reason why I keep going back to coaching is because it's not just one thing. It'll be easier if it was Lamar Jackson who had a problem with turnovers. If he was Lamar Jackson with Josh Allen, all you had to do is say, okay, we're gonna take the ball out of your hands more. Because that's how Buffalo got better. They basically take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands as fast as possible because he's gonna turn it over. It'll be easy if there's one thing you had to fix. But it's not. That's why I got to be coaching. And Lamar Jackson been in the league 6 years, since 2018. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
In his time, it's always been the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Always been the same. That's coaching. They're getting better players around him, but they're not getting better fundamentally.
So can we say the hardballs are not good for the NFL? Because Jim Harbaugh had the same fucking problem John Harbaugh had. Can we now start saying that the Harbaughs, there's something going on with them? Because remember Jim Harbaugh with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't want to remind you, Richie Rich, that's your team with Colin Kaepernick. He didn't handle Colin Kaepernick the way that he was supposed to. He didn't manage that situation well. He basically coached the team the way John Harbaugh was coaching it. He let the team do whatever the hell they wanted to do. What do y'all think about the Harbaugh?
I think Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than
Jim Harbaugh just watched. I mean, besides from this season, his first year is coaching the Los Angeles Chargers. He won a national championship with the Michigan Wolverines the year before.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a Jim Harbaugh coach, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
is. But I'll give you this. I don't think the Ravens had the same type of problems they have for as long as they have if Jim Harbaugh is a coach. I think Jim Harbaugh runs people the wrong way because of how intense he is. Mm-hmm. But as far as fundamentals, when you beat Jim Harbaugh team, you just beat them. They rarely beat themselves. Like you never really see on a consistent basis, you rarely see a Jim Harbaugh coach team beat themselves. When they lost in the Super Bowl, they lost to the better team. The Ravens was just better than them, but they didn't beat themselves. Like you always see the Ravens beating themselves because of the lack of fundamentals. It don't be no major things. Like the Buffalo Bills didn't do anything major when they beat them. The last time when they beat them, you know what happened? Mm. You know what happened? Lamar had a bad pick. Then they snapped the ball over Lamar Jackson's head. He got it again. He has to go get it, and he gets concussed. So now he can't even come back into the game. And it was not like the Buffalo Bills ran off with it. They never scored another point. Mm-hmm. So Josh Allen didn't even have to do anything to win that game. When they lost against Cincinnati in the playoffs, you know how they lost? A goal line fumble. Yeah. They ran Tyler Huntley over the top. Who does that?
Yep.
Walter Payton and LaDainian Thompson was the last one who was jumping over the top. They don't even do that no more.
Yep.
You running Tyler Huntley over the top of the pile?
Yeah.
Who does it? Who comes with that mindset? Like it's like he's losing these games on purpose.
Yeah.
It's no other way around it. It's like he's throwing these games with the decision he makes. This is coaching all the way.
Yeah.
This is coaching all the way.
And I've seen any sport where coaching is the most important, it's football, man. It boils down to all of the decisive plays, especially like you said earlier, Ross, so eloquently, that in playoffs, one possession is the equivalent of 3 possessions. That boils down to coaching, man. Your coaching has to be on point, especially in these late game situations. This is where the coaches make their bread and butter. This is where they make their money. This is where the offensive coordinator makes his money. This is where the defensive coordinators make their money. I can't fault the Buffalo Bills for playing defense the way that they did in that scenario with Mark Andrews dropping the ball. That was the best way they were going to play defense based on what the offense was giving them. So they don't get the fault in that play. Who gets the fault in that play is not the offensive coordinator, unfortunately, because he ran the right play in telling Lamar Jackson
He schemed them open.
the scheme was perfect. You know who gets the blame in that situation? And I get what Lamar Jackson is doing, because Lamar Jackson deals with a double-edged sword, to where if he didn't, here's the thing. Let's just call a spade here. Lamar Jackson's hair looks like me and Ross. He's a Negro. And if Lamar Jackson goes on TV and be like, that motherfucker dropped the pass, he should have caught it, and he went on his whole Florida tangent with that shit, they would have been on his ass about that. I know he wanted to say that because he was pissed. Richie Rich, you know, because you know where we from.
As a leader, you can't do that.
Exactly.
That's a conversation for behind closed doors.
You know where we from.
Behind closed doors.
You know when a Florida boy hits, it sits down on that sit down and hit that shit. You saw the way he hit the bench, the way he hit it, right?
Yeah.
That hit. You know what that hit means. He wanted to say something to that motherfucker, but you know what he did? He caught himself in that moment, Ross, and he said, all right, I got to be a leader in this moment. But he was actually mad at the fact that this motherfucker cost him his season. And you could tell how angry he was, because when he sat down, Ross, he said, fuck. When a guy says that, he's in his mind, yo, I'm thinking about, you know what he's thinking about in his head? I'm thinking about, damn, we could have been playing Patrick Mahomes next fucking week. And this motherfucker,
right, and get back.
This motherfucker dropped the ball. Now I gotta be the leader right now, and I gotta say, well, it ain't just on him, but I really want to say, how the fuck did you drop that ball? That's what he was battling with. He was battling with those demons in it.
You think he ain't say that behind closed doors? Behind closed doors, they had it out. When you lose a game like that, it's gonna be frustrations. They're gonna argue. But you got to be a united front in front of the public. He did everything he's supposed to do. But if I'm telling you right now, Lamar Jackson is more, and you might not agree with me on this. He's more mad at himself because he holds himself accountable, but he's more mad at John Harbaugh than he is anybody. Because you got to understand one thing. The reason why anybody would have been open on that play because they thought they were going to run the football. That's why he was so wide open. They thought they were going to run the football. Why was he in the game? If I'm the coach, I love you to death, Mark. You got to sit this one out. I'm going with the best players that have been playing in this game. So you got number 7. I be forgetting the boy name. Number 7, he out there. You Derrick Henry gonna be out there. Isaiah Likely gonna be out there. All the guys who haven't failed me so far are gonna be on the field on this last play. Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, you're not gonna be out there. Why? Because you might drop the ball again. That's why.
Okay, so now y'all saying this, right? Now I need to ask both of y'all the question. Do y'all both think it was a conspiracy? Do y'all think that Mark Andrews got paid on the side to drop that pass? Or do y'all think that I'm just speaking out of my ass with this one?
Okay, let me go right quick. I have no proof of that's going on. But from the outside looking in, this ain't the first. Mark Andrews has done nothing in the playoffs. Mark Andrews has not scored one touchdown in the playoffs yet. Much is made of Lamar Jackson. Nothing is made of his teammates around him. Every time the playoffs comes, Mark Andrews is nowhere to be found. So when I think about that, and when I think about this shit right here, it makes you feel like this shit is being done purposely. But I do not have any proof of that. So now I'm just led to believe this guy crumbles under pressure. But if he's not crumbling under pressure, he got to be doing this shit on purpose because some of the shit that's happening in these playoff games is fucking ridiculous. Because Mark Andrews makes miraculous catches in the regular season.
But he can't do it in the playoffs.
I'm talking about one hand grabs. He's mossing motherfuckers, taking a ball from him. Mark Andrews is going crazy in the regular season.
But it disappears in the playoffs.
Come to playoffs, you can't catch And you gotta say, you're only as good as your weapon. So if you're fading, you're gonna make your quarterback fade.
Yep.
You can't catch feathery passes that you throw to 4-year-olds.
Yep.
When you get your 4-year-old nephew ready to be a receiver, you throw him the little touch. You can't catch that. I see why people are saying this is a conspiracy.
Yep.
I see why. I have no proof of that, but if you was to say that, I want to argue with you because it don't make any other sense.
That's how I'm feeling, man.
But it's not just
because I saw the pass.
It's not just him.
The pass was
Yeah.
the pass was you're professional, man. And I was just pissed. I think that was my frustration because I would have understood if Lamar Jackson was getting sacked, he was getting pressured, and then he had to throw like a Hail Mary or he had to throw a forced pass, and then Mark Henry had to like really reach, like he had to really dig into his sternum to try to catch the ball. And he dropped it. That's understandable. But it was none of it, man.
Yeah.
It was we basically broke the defense down. You ran the perfect slant route, and now you just need to catch the fucking ball. So all of a sudden you have slippery feet because the ground really wasn't slippery like that. Your ass was wearing the right cleats for the ground, and then all of a sudden you can't catch the ball, and then the ball's juggling in your hands like it's a hot potato. It's the hardest thing for you to catch. Come on, man. I'm not trying to hear that.
That shit was ridiculous.
I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to.
That shit was ridiculous.
I mean, I don't think it was a conspiracy theorist of why he dropped the pass, but I mean, we've seen plays like that happen where the athlete doesn't deliver. They choke in those defining moments, man. And that was one of those moments. The moment he made the moment bigger than what it was. All he had to do was catch the ball, and they have an opportunity to win the game in overtime. If it goes in their favor, if they're able to execute and make a play to win in overtime,
I'm telling you guys right now, football is momentum. Football's in a momentum sport. If the Buffalo Bills saw that the Ravens caught that 2-point conversion, it would have taken the win out of them, and they would have been like, "Oh shit, we got to deal with these motherfuckers in overtime." They would have lost.
I mean, there's still was about a minute something left after that drop catch. So Buffalo Bills would have had at least about a minute to work the.
They would have some time. They would have some time, but look at how they were playing. They weren't really moving the football like that.
Nope.
They weren't really moving it. They had. Let's be honest. Josh Allen didn't have to do anything in that game. He wasn't like out there flinging it. He had 2 deep passes where the niggas was wide open because Stevens. You pull Stevens out the game and you straight.
Think about
the confidence. It don't take a rocket science. It don't take a rocket scientist to make these decisions. Me and you can make these decisions that the Ravens are not making. And that's why it seems like he being set up to fail because, bro, at one point do you trade Stevens or get rid of him? At what point do you do that?
Think about the momentum and think about the confidence booster. A 2-point conversion in a playoff game is hard. Think about the momentum they're going into with a minute. That means the defense is amped. The defense, Josh Allen's already playing like trash. The defense on the Ravens was playing pretty fucking good. They would have been amped. They would have made sure that in that minute and some change, they would have shut down the Bills. We would have went into overtime, and now you would have seen who wanted it more. And I know that the Ravens would have won that shit in overtime, man, with that 2-point conversion.
The Ravens have to stop being a cheap franchise on the offensive end. They got to go
right. Get some real players.
They got to get real players because they've been very cheap. They haven't been trying to get. They finally got Lamar Jackson some adequate talent. They got Derrick Henry, but they got Derrick Henry on the down end of his career. They got him for cheap. They only got him for $8 million this year because he's past 30.
Think about this for a second. You know what's really going on? They when you pick up somebody that's a lightning rod for controversy like Lamar Jackson, it does 2 things for you. He's a built-in scapegoat. So like Kobe was a built-in scapegoat. He's a built-in scapegoat. No matter what happens wrong, we could blame him because why? He was never supposed to be a quarterback to begin with. Think about it. They use this man's success against him. When the last time you heard he's an MVP, he's supposed to be able to do it by himself? Yeah. Who does? What MVP wins championships by themselves?
Especially not no football.
But what they're doing is they're using his success against him. When have you heard that until Lamar Jackson came along? Now all of a sudden, he's supposed to do everything by himself because he got some success. All right, cool. You know who else knows that? The ownership knows that. The general manager knows that, and the coach knows that. So you know what they do? Instead of helping this guy, they lean on him too much. That's the reason why they haven't got him adequate things around him. Look at Jared Goff. Jared Goff got a perfect football team. If it wasn't for his defense getting all them injuries, they'll be in the Super Bowl right now. All Jared Goff got to do is hike the ball, hand it off, or throw it. He don't got to do nothing outside of the way.
Yeah.
Because they're not depending on him to be Superman.
Yes.
They can't even get Lamar Jackson an adequate center. When you watch a Ravens game, the snaps rarely go to where they're supposed to go. He's always have to the one-hand snaps.
He got to overreach, or it feels like he has to kind of like tilt to go get the ball. Like that's crazy. If you have a perfect center snapping the ball, you shouldn't have to do too much of that. You should just be catching the ball and then quick snapping it and then getting the ball out. And the thing with Lamar Jackson is, you know, I like Lamar Jackson, and I think we all uniformly here like Lamar Jackson. I don't think that there's no disputing that. Lamar Jackson is the completed version of what you liked about Michael Vick, because the only problem Michael Vick had was the accuracy, and that's what Lamar Jackson has. He has the accuracy. So when I look at Lamar Jackson, I'm like, damn, this is the finished product of what Michael Vick should have been. That's why, and here's the thing, just like everybody was rooting for Michael Vick to win, everybody's rooting for Lamar Jackson. I have not seen a year where the fans got behind it. And this is why when Ross said Lamar Jackson is like Kobe, they have that same mentality. They're hated by the pundits, right? They're hated by their peers. They're hated by those who always have something bad to say about them. But the fans know the greatness these guys present, and the fans want these guys to win, just like fans wanted Kobe to genuinely win because they knew what Kobe was bringing to the table. They wanted Lamar Jackson to genuinely win the Super Bowl this year because Lamar Jackson, that dude is fucking talented. He runs fast. He's always playing 2, if not 3 positions every fucking game. He's always a quarterback and a running back with the potential to also be a wideout. There's no quarterback in today's game that has that ability to be 2 to 3 positions every snap. The last quarterback that had that ability was Michael Vick. But then you have the completed version in him and this guy. If there's anybody that I want to win a fucking Super Bowl so bad, it's him. Because I know what a Super Bowl for him would mean for that style of a quarterback. Now, it's not Patrick Mahomes' fault. And I'm not going to blame Patrick Mahomes because he's a brother too. It's not Patrick Mahomes' fault that he's just in a great situation. He's a great quarterback and he's winning. No, he should keep winning if he's continued to be put in those positions to win. No one is knocking him to not win. He should continue to win. The thing that all I'm trying to say is the same way the Kansas City Chiefs puts the effort in making sure they build the team around Patrick Mahomes the way that they do and keep them successful every year is the same effort they need to be putting in the fucking Lamar Jackson with the Ravens to build that team around him every year. If you're not giving him that same level of effort, then you're basically telling him that he needs to do everything. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of those 02-03 Dolphins when you had Dave Weinstein, who was the GM and the owner, the GM and the fucking coach, who was putting everything on fucking Ricky. Ricky, run, but wasn't giving Ricky nothing else around him. So Ricky was putting up phenomenal, unreal fucking stats, but there was no quarterback. There was no receivers. And all you had was Ricky in the defense. Come on, man. This is what the Ravens is. Lamar Jackson in defense. That's it. Where's everything else around them?
Yeah, he got adequate. They lost some players from last year, from the linebacker position. They were much better defense last year. Oh,
yeah. And that's another thing, bro. They never are able to hold anything that's good for them.
Yep.
Soon as they get a good defensive coach, they start getting poached right away. What other teams that happening to? The enemy left the Chiefs because he wanted to, but he would still be on the Chiefs because nobody was trying to get. They wasn't taken from the Chiefs. Soon as the Ravens get something good, they automatically everybody starts trying to get it away from them. Like they don't want this nigga to have no team, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have no team. Like put it this way: as soon as they got McDonald, the defensive coordinator last year, that was his first year. Got snatched away immediately. Monken during the playoffs, they got this dude interviews, head coach interviews. It's like, bro. So when people say certain shit, I have no proof to say it's a conspiracy. But when I put everything together, nothing makes sense. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying?
And the thing about Lamar Jackson, this ain't no Donovan McNabb shit. This ain't no nothing up in no playoff type shit. This is a quarterback that's giving you blood, sweat, and tears. This is a guy who is the heart of football, man. The heart of what we call elite athleticism. He represents what all of our inner city neighborhoods from Chicago, from Miami, from all of these places, what we represent when we show y'all this is the best physical specimen that we can put out there in terms of a package of a football player. He is what we embody growing up, a guy that's going to give you his all on the football field. And all you need to do is put the right package around him. This is not the first time football has made this mistake. Notice it's a certain type of individual. Now, this speaks to a bigger epidemic and a bigger problem to me, because what I'm noticing is certain individuals get this stigma with them. The reason why Barry Sanders retired as fast as he did and as early as he did, they wouldn't fucking surround motherfuckers around him. It's like when guys are too great in their respective position, and this is a football thing that I'm noticing. It's like teams are so caught up in the guy's greatness that they don't give him no package around the guy. They don't give the guy help. They're just so dependent on the guy's greatness that they think the guy's just going to carry them over. So you know what this is? This is not just a individual problem. This is what we call a bigger epidemic team NFL problem. Why are NFL teams from the beginning of the genre of the sport of football, even until now, have standout talents like this, but always never positioning themselves? It's like they're basically being lazy. So now we're not just going to go to coaching. Now we got to go to ownership. Why is ownership being lazy and not investing the dollars and saying, hey, we got this guy. We need to put guys around this guy in order for this guy to thrive. Because this is not Lamar Jackson is not the first scenario with this, and he won't be the last.
They don't want to pay the money, man. Because one thing, and I can say this for a fact, one thing the Ravens do to kind of hold back the money they got to pay, if you start doing too good, they'll start limiting you. They did J.K. Demise like that, and they did Gus Edwards like that. In a game where they're going off in the first half, next you know they won't play the second half. They do that so you can't run up the stats to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do that to their detriment. Sometimes they lose games doing that.
Great point.
They lose games doing that. When they go away from shit that's working, that's because they be trying to win with the players that they already paying. They don't want to pay new players. Think about it. Why the fuck would you not give Derrick Henry the ball?
Exactly.
He's gassing for 6 yards of play. You don't want to pay those bonuses. You don't want to pay him no extra money. You don't want him to have no leverage. So you rather Lamar Jackson do every fucking thing.
Yep. Especially when you have Derrick Henry out there, man. And if you look at Derrick Henry's stats compared to Saquon Barkley had his best year Obviously, he was healthy, and shout outs to him, man. Saquon Barkley was a running back that I was supporting and I was rooting for, and I'm just happy, man. And I salute him for having the year that he's having this year, because I knew when him being healthy and with the Giants making the biggest fucking mistakes of their lives and not paying him what he deserved and letting him go, I knew he was going to ball out like that. But if you look at Derrick Henry for his supposed down year, Derrick Henry's numbers are just slightly, for a down year now. This is how dominant Derrick Henry is. For a down year, his numbers are just slightly lower than Saquon Barkley. That's fucking impressive. That's impressive.
You want to know why that is? His numbers not even supposed to be that good. He's playing next to a quarterback whom the teams are terrified of. Derrick Henry normally gets 5 yards without even being touched. The reason why they was able to meet him at the line this game, because they didn't have to worry about Zay Flowers. So they pulled the safeties up, and the safety was able to meet him before he could get going good. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they was able to so-called kind of slow him down. And even then, they still was supposed to keep giving him the ball. But this team always does some weirdo shit in the playoffs, man, which allows me to think that it's either John Harbaugh is incompetent, or they're telling them, like, man, Lamar Jackson can't win just yet or at all. Because none of this shit makes sense. The fact that none of it is being rectified lets me know this is bigger than
the reason why I think this is bigger is because you got to understand, when Lamar Jackson wins, now the reason why Patrick Mahomes winning is fine is because Patrick Mahomes still falls under, the prototypical quarterback. Even though he's mobile, he still falls under that lane. When Lamar Jackson wins, you now have to say that Michael Vick's style of quarterbacking is the way to go. It has to become now the pedigree. And I think the reason why they're finding ways, and this is just my conspiracy, and you guys know I get very crazy with this type of shit. The reason why I'm feeling like this is because I know that once a quarterback like this wins, owners, GMs, because football's still a good old boy network, it still is way more white looking or up top than the way it looks with us. We may be the dominant in terms of the players, but up top, it's those other kind of boys that got the money or whatever. They know that if they got to give credence to a quarterback style of a Michael Vick winning, now you know what they got to do? They got to rewrite history. They got to say, man, we was at fault for the whole dog thing that we did to Michael Vick. It's like they got to take a lot of hits that they don't want to take because now they need to justify a quarterback of this stature.
Or let me put my 2 cents up in here, because I don't know about this, man, because we got to look at the quarterbacks who've been in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was in the Super Bowl a couple seasons ago against Pat Mahomes, and we know Jalen Hurts likes to run that ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Lamar can get to a Super Bowl, but I think they just have to keep improving that roster, because the roster they make too many mental errors where they're at as a team, like how Ross was talking about the past few years. They're a team, they make too many mental errors, and it's time to address that. And sometimes it has to be with you upgrading that roster, because some of the guys on that team, they just can't deliver. You know what I'm saying? The stage is too big and they don't show up. So you got to get guys that okay, this guy's going to deliver on this stage. Like how I mentioned earlier, T. Higgins. You got to go and get a big play receiver like that. That guy is going to step up and he's going to help Lamar Jackson get to new heights. You know what I'm saying? You see what Jalen Hurts has. He has A.J. Brown. He has Devontae Smith. He has Saquon Barkley. Well, when he got to the Super Bowl, he didn't have Saquon Barkley. He had A.J. Brown and he had Devontae Smith, 2 really good wide receivers that show up most of the time. You have to upgrade the talent around Lamar Jackson. It's simple. That's what it's gonna take. You can't come in here with this skeleton crew. You got to upgrade that team. That's the only way. Is that guy still the GM of that team? What's his name? He used to play for the Ravens a long time ago.
No. Ozzie Newsome been gone. The Costa is
Ozzie Newsome. Yeah, that's who I was referring to. Whoever's in charge, they got to upgrade the talent. That's this offseason.
But Costa is very conservative, and that's been the problem. He's not spending money, man. That's the problem.
The problem with the Ravens, they ran like a good old boys club. So the Ravens is like this.
It comes down to the franchise. That's the issue.
The Ravens now he's talking about after they lost, instead of investing in the offense, he's talking about adding another safety. Are you serious? Why aren't you addressing the offensive side of the football? Why are you talking about safety first?
The Ravens are like this. The Ravens are ran like a good old boys club. So if you come in and you do what you told and you don't challenge nobody, they will always look out for you. They look out for their own. They'll make sure you get another job. John Harbaugh is good for that. He looks out for people who do what he says and don't challenge him. But if you challenge him to be better, you'll be gone. When Marquise Brown said, you know what, we need to open up the playbook and get better plays, they got rid of him, and he was telling the truth. He was telling the truth. Was he the receiver that should have been saying that? No, because he had a problem with dropping the ball, but it was the truth. The truth was that playbook they had was elementary, and Lamar Jackson was running a more sophisticated offense in college.
And now they're talking about Derrick Henry's contract extension to be evaluated. Are you fucking kidding me? You shouldn't even be trying to evaluate that. You should be telling him, hey, you're going to be extended, and we need to figure out how we're going to extend you. That's what they should be talking about, not evaluate. I hate when guys perform above standard and then you want to come out and say, no, you need to be coming out saying, no, he's definitely a keeper. You need to focus on everybody.
He surprised me this year because the year before that, his last year with the Titans, he had a down year, but I guess, of
course. Look at his quarterback. He's playing with a trash quarterback. People don't realize a quarterback affects a good elite quarterback affects a running back. If they know you're not a threat, they're just gonna pin their ears back and come get you a running back. You're not a threat to do anything else. You know what I'm saying? So they can't do that when he was playing with Lamar Jackson. But back to what I was gonna say, when it comes to the Ravens, the way they ran is more like a mafia, man. It's more like a mafia, and the mafia is not about the right way. It's about our way, the Ravens way. But what they're not understanding is the Ravens way can no longer win football games. It can't win big football games. You can't play like that no more because defenses have got better. You can't win games off 8 or 9 field goals like you used to with no offensive input.
The NFL,
they're winning games. The NFL is passing the Ravens by.
There's no reason Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts should have a higher cap than fucking Derrick Henry. His cap is $15.6 million. Henry's cap is 12.9. Henry should be making at least 17, 18 going into next year.
They're not gonna pay a running back who's 32 that much money. That's just how the market is. It's brutal. It's brutal on running backs.
He showed this year not only did his numbers go up, he showed this year he got a lot left in the tank. That's what he showed.
But they're not going to see that type of money. They're not going to pay. That's the thing with this team, with this ownership, this general manager. I would be surprised if Lamar Jackson ever wins because they put money over winning. Easily.
And that's why I was saying for the longest.
Hold on. Think about this. When you watch a Ravens game, if a player is doing too well, you don't want to pay him.
Yeah.
So that shows you right there the reason why they're not doing things that make common sense. Because they're thinking about negotiations throughout the season. Right. There's no reason. Some of these games where they lost, they would have easily won if they would have kept going to the well, kept running the ball. But they're automatically thinking if Henry gets X amount of blase, we're gonna have to pay this man. So they rather lose than pay their players. Yeah. They would pay him. That's the reason why they still be playing defensive backs. They still be having them in a game where they should pull them because in their mind we already paid this dude. We got to get the money out of him, but he's not playing well. They're the only team that does that. That play players that are not playing well just because they've paid them already. That's the reason
I
why they
tell you
lose.
what, they're gonna have to come with a better figure than 8 million though. This man done ran for 1,900 yards. I thought that he didn't have much left in the tank because Tennessee Titans had ran him into the ground when he was over there. But now he still was able to crank out 1,900 yards at 32. So that boy deserves more than 8 million.
Because of his age, he should get at least 10 or 11.
Yeah, definitely.
He deserves more, but justify that shit in all facets. They won't be able to justify it with his age. He's injured, he's less likely to come back. Everybody can't be Adrian Peterson. You know what I'm saying? Peterson was a freaking nature. He got injured and came back better. Most people, they get injured at this age, it's a wrap. He deserves more than 8. I'll say 11 or 12 max. Even though I think he's good enough to get 15, it wouldn't be a wise decision. And I'm going to say that. It wouldn't be a wise decision. But I'm telling you, with this team, they tried to lowball Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I remember when they were hesitant to give him the contract.
They definitely gonna lowball, bro. Because they tried to lowball Lamar Jackson. And that's the reason why they're in the predicament they're in now.
I mean,
that's
they got money. They got money to pay the offense, man, because the Eagles, they're paying AJ Brown what 32 million. Devontae Smith is at 26, and you got Jalen Hurts at 50. That's just between three.
And you see what's going on with the Eagles, right? And you see what's going on with the Eagles, right? They're always in position. They're always fighting.
Saquon getting 14. If that team has that money to pay their offensive players, what do they do? That's the issue. It's the franchise. It's not the NFL. It's the franchise. They are cheap. They don't want to pay for offensive players to put around Lamar Jackson so that he can reach his true potential. That's what the fans they gotta riot, dog. That's the problem. The fans gotta riot and they gotta start going at the front office, the owner. What are y'all doing? Y'all wasting Lamar Jackson.
Right? Richie Rich gave a generalized response to my conspiracy, and that's why I like the balance between us. He gave a generalized and a overall comprehensive, simple to understand to everyone's thinking on my conspiracy. He took my conspiracy and made it relatable to everyone on what me and Ross have been saying about this whole agenda against Lamar Jackson, man. There's an agenda against that dude. And I'm going to tell you what the agenda is, and then we're going to switch gears, but y'all might have an opinion on it. You have to understand this. When guys come from the state of Florida, they have this extra thing on their back when it comes to football. I don't know what it is about guys coming from Florida, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we made inner city football, which is everywhere now. You have it in Chicago, you have it in New York, everywhere. But we in Florida, we took inner city football, and because we took it in college football and we made it a thing where this is how we all are in every inner city. The reason why they give us flack for it is because from the University of Miami days, when we said, hey, you take us inner city boys and you put us together, we're going to run the score on you motherfuckers. Now, here's the thing. These white boys was doing this shit with Notre Dame, Penn State, and all of these college football teams for years. Nobody said nothing when they're running up the score, right? But when we doing it, but because we doing it with gold teeth, we doing it because we got dreads, we doing it because we got nice fades, we doing it because we got gold, we doing it because we got jewelry, we doing it because we fucking all your women, we doing it because we gyrating in the football field doing celebratory dances. You have a fucking problem with that. You have a problem with the fact that we're bragging on you, that we're going to run up the motherfucking score on you, and we're going to keep running up the score on you. This is what it is. Lamar Jackson represents that pedigree. He represents that whole pedigree of inner city everywhere. And it's a bigger epidemic because Lamar Jackson wins. You know who wins? You win, Ross. You win, Richie Rich. I win. All inner cities win. And I think the reason why they're limiting Lamar Jackson and his capability is they're limiting that ideal, because you have to understand what that ideal means. You now have to change the standards, because once somebody wins something, you have to change the standards to fit that new situation. Everyone knows that winning cures all. Remember
Right.
when Ray Lewis won? They hated Ray Lewis because he was a loud, boisterous. How dare you be so fucking loud as a defensive player? How dare you get in the quarterback's face? How dare you do this? They used to give this guy penalties for no fucking reason. Ed Reed for smashing motherfuckers in the head for no reason. But the reason why they had no choice but to accept it is because them motherfuckers won. And once they won, that had to be the new president. And now you started seeing more defensive guys being more boisterous like that. The reason why
Right.
they're trying to limit this and they're trying to stop it from it pushing itself out is because they know once a guy like Lamar Jackson wins, the whole inner city movement wins. And now
It's open the floodgate.
presidents to where now you have to recruit that. Not only in college, you have to recruit that going into the NFL. This is the way to go. And I think they don't want to stop the whole ideology of the prototypical quarterback that they have in their mind, because they've been doing this for years. They've been trying to halt this multi-purpose, multifunctional quarterback since Randall Cunningham days. They've been trying to do this shit since Warren Moon days. But eventually,
They did Warren Moon bad. His whole
they did him
organization,
dirty.
his whole organization was fucked up from top to bottom. They never mentioned that. Warren
They
Moon
did
had
him dirty.
Warren Moon had coaches on the sideline fighting in playoff games. He was
Because
doing,
you
he
gotta
was doing,
understand, Warren
he
Moon
was
didn't
doing
just dominate
total
the
dysfunction.
NFL. He didn't only just dominate NFL, he dominated another football league. He dominated
Yeah.
2 football leagues at the
They
same
never
time.
They never bring that up. Warren Moon was dealing with total dysfunction on the Houston Oilers and was still getting into the AFC Championship.
This
His
dude was the Dr.
coaches
J of football.
His coaches were fighting on the sideline during the playoff games. Like total dysfunction.
So what they're trying to do, and it's very clear, is they're trying to stop the movement, of what's about to happen. This is why it's okay. And if you notice, when they talk about the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, Doug Williams, you know why they push Doug Williams? It's because Doug Williams represents their prototypical version of what a quarterback is. That's why they push him. He's a pass first.
Right. He was just black.
Pass first.
He was just
Yeah,
black.
he's black, but he's pass first. He represents
That's what I'm saying.
he represents what they want. So of course they're gonna push him and say,
Right.
"You see, this is what it should be." But when it comes to that multi-purpose quarterback, I'm telling you guys, this is why I don't care what they do. Lamar Jackson's gonna win this shit. I don't know why. I have a strong feeling in my gut. His greatness is gonna overcome, and he's gonna win. It's like Kobe. Remember when I was telling you, Richie Rich? Me and Ross, we believed it because we Kobe fans. Remember when I was telling you, Richie Rich, that whole Shaq shit when Shaq left or whatever? I told you Kobe gonna win because Kobe's greatness. That's what's gonna happen. Lamar Jackson's greatness is gonna overtake him. He's gonna go into a year. You have not seen the best of Lamar Jackson. He's gonna go into a football year where he's gonna be so possessed that his greatness is just gonna carry the fucking Super Bowl, and they're gonna have no motherfucking choice but to accept this quarterback, bro. I'm telling you, he's just gonna do it because you know how I know it's in him to do it. It's because I saw something in him that told me that next year he's gonna take his game to another level. It's the way he hit that bench with his fist and almost injured his fucking throwing hand. He was so mad, and the way he sounded at the end of the game, where he was like, "Man, fuck, like we're doing everything right, but everything." When somebody starts sounding like that, you know they want that shit so bad, and they're gonna do whatever. They're gonna drive themselves to a maniacal level of fucking diabolical and psychological level to get what they're gonna get, and they're not gonna let nobody get in their way. I'm telling you. You think Lamar Jackson's playing his best right now? You ain't seen shit yet. I think next year we're gonna see double of what we've ever seen from Lamar Jackson, man.
We're gonna take it to another
Go
level.
take that shit to another level, man.
But the issue is, I know he's good enough. He's good enough to do it now. I don't know if he could overcome Harbaugh, man. Not to say he's not great enough to do it, But you know what allowed Kobe to be his best
Phil
self?
Jackson.
He had a coach who didn't get in his
Yep.
way and put him in positions to
Yep.
succeed. Lamar Jackson be being put in positions of impossibility
Yep.
and be succeeding. That's hard to do, man. Like, it's hard to continuously do that. And when the playoffs comes, you have to put your quarterback in the best positions, not in positions of possibility. There's no reason why we should still be having snapping issues
Yeah.
in the playoffs. That should be over with. There's no reason we should still be having drop. Now, passes are going to get dropped in the playoffs, man. In the cold weather, that's going to happen. Dropping issues is 5, 6, 7 drops. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
There's no reason we should still be having these problems. They got to get rid of Harbaugh, man. I know Ravens fans don't want to hear this. Harbaugh ass is in the way, man. They need to get Kyle
I think he needs to
Shanahan
go
in there,
seek
man.
out. I think Lamar Jackson
You
needs
said
to sit
Kyle
down
Shanahan?
with Ray Lewis and
I
ask.
need him.
Hey, I'm ready
Yeah, they
to
need
come
to.
up
They need
on
to
Kyle Shanahan too, because I think his time with the Niners is pretty much done. You know,
He's not the
oh yeah, that
problem.
shit
you
is
know.
done.
Shanahan ain't the problem with the Niners.
Listen, man, he
Y'all
can't
need
listen.
him.
If he gotta see the Chiefs, he ain't gonna beat that team. He can't beat Andy Reid. He can't beat that team, bro.
Not with Purdy. He could beat
That's
him if
true.
he had Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, yeah,
Purdy,
yeah.
Purdy
You
is
are
the
you are
problem.
good as a coach. You are as good as your talent.
Think about it. Shanahan gets the same shit done no matter who the fucking quarterback is. He just can't beat no another elite quarterback. If he
Yep.
had Lamar Jackson, they will walk through fucking Kansas City, man.
Listen,
Purdy
Yeah.
has
this
me
is what I
climbing
tell you
up
about
every
that.
time.
Be careful with Shanahan. Shanahan don't make adjustments, dog. You seen that when he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they went up against the Patriots. The first time when they went against the Chiefs, and the second, that boy don't make adjustments, man. When teams figure him out, he can't make adjustments. So it probably wouldn't turn out well with Lamar. Be careful with who you want. I'm telling you.
I
I'm
think
gonna
he
tell
was.
you who be the perfect. I'll tell you who
This
be the perfect fit. I'll
this
tell you
my-
who be the perfect fit for the Ravens
this my
if they
logic for that.
are willing to have him. You know who would be a perfect fit for the Ravens? Bill Belichick. If Bill Belichick can find
Bill
himself
Belichick
into
coaches
the
college
NFL,
football now.
I know, but he would be the
Of course.
perfect fit for the Ravens. You know why? Because he fits their fiscal responsibility narrative, right? But he
And he's gonna
still
have to-
makes sure to maximize talent. The reason why I'm
Yeah.
saying he's the perfect guy for that is he fits their budget, but he maximizes talent within the budget. He knows how to get the
Right.
most out of the least. I think he would be the perfect fit for that scenario.
He will be the perfect fit. My logic behind Matt, let's be honest. Damn, a lot of coaches would be better than John Harbaugh. Let's be honest. The reason why I said Shanahan, because if you could get to the NFC Championship with Garoppolo, if you could get there with Purdy, you could win it with Lamar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You could win it with Lamar. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
Garoppolo
true.
was
That's true. That's true. He ain't lying.
What?
He ain't lying
Okay,
about that.
okay,
You get into the NFC Championship with Garoppolo and Purdy, you can
He
win
got
it
you
with
with that
Lamar.
one, Richie Rich. He got
I
you
mean,
with that.
okay, let's put it like this. Every coach has their scheme. Every coach has their scheme. We don't know if Lamar would thrive in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And if there's issues,
How would he?
it's a heavy run scheme. They want to run the football. The majority
And you
of the
saying
time.
Lamar
That's
Jackson?
perfect. That's perfect for Lamar and
Perfect
Derrick
for
Henry.
Lamar.
That's
But
perfect.
let's say if you face a defense that's able to affect your running game heavily. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But they got two thoroughbreds with that. They got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Hold on.
So you give it. You got to give them the weapons that the Niners got. Let me tell you about my team. My team, McCaffrey's an elite running back, but he's an injury-prone guy. Deebo Samuels, he's a dynamic playmaker, but he's not like a elite receiver. Brandon Ayuk, he's okay, but he's not an elite receiver. He's not gonna have elite playmakers all over the field. He gonna have Kittle though. I ain't gonna lie. Kittle ain't dropping that pass that Mark Andrews dropped. That's a fact.
I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. You are bitter from all these losses you have took, and now and now you mad as hell at Shanahan. But you gotta understand, Shanahan only you're only as good as your quarterback. He's been working. He's been working with less. He's been working with less. Let's be honest. He never had an elite quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He never. And let's be honest. You want to know why Purdy and Garoppolo's numbers always was good? Because they throwing the wide open receivers. You mean to tell me Lamar Jackson can't hit wide open receivers?
Yep.
Kittles be wide the fuck open. These guys be wide open.
Some of your responses are because you're mad. You mad that San Francisco didn't get over. Let's be honest. If the 49ers beat the Chiefs,
then Garoppolo.
If the 49ers beat the Chiefs last year, you know what Richie Rich would have been saying? Hey, I don't give a fuck what anybody got to say, but my team, they humbled Patrick Mahomes. That's what he would have been saying this whole time. He's mad because he can't have those bragging rights.
We lost to this team 2 times in a row. So, you know, that team basically owned us, man. You know, I can't say nothing.
And what I'm telling you is the way y'all are configured with y'all defense and the way y'all run the ball and control the clock and y'all hit wide open receivers, I'm trying to tell you, it's the quarterback that's holding y'all back.
Right. Yep.
Y'all had Lamar Jackson, y'all would have won that game easily.
You know another team, the quarterback's holding them back. And I know they gave him an extension and all of that, Tua. But if you take Tua out and you put Lamar Jackson on that Dolphins team, boy, whoosh. That's all I need to think about.
They're going to run a rock. Miami going to be back in their glory days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They'll be back in their glory days.
That Dolphins team? What? Don't even get me started, boy. With him and Tyreek Hill? What?
The sad thing about it is Tua is really balling, but Tua is just injury prone.
Yep.
He's injury prone. Because I can't even say it's because of lack of talent. I like Tua. Tua's not trash. Tua just had limitations. He's not like he ain't gonna be throwing the ball 80, 70 yards and running around and throwing on the string. But his strength is his timing and his accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
But Tua be regular tackles hurt Tua. Like just a regular tackle gives this nigga concussions and shit.
Yeah, that's his issue.
Yep.
He's just not a physical player, bro. That's you know.
Yeah, he's not big. He can play football, but his frame not built for it. And that's sad. It's sad, man, because he really got talent. But bro, if you push him down the wrong way, he injured for 3 games.
Yeah. Now the team that I'm rooting for is the Eagles because I want to see Saquon Barkley get it, man. That's what I'm rooting for now. But let's switch gears, man. Let's switch gears and let's talk about Dana White and John Jones, man, because I feel like we got to bring this up, man. It's crazy that it took for, Donald Trump to show up with Elon Musk. I guess, when it's time for the good old boy to kiss the good old boy's ass, that's when, bet. When the good old boy is kissing the good old boy's ass, that's when the time you have to acknowledge who's your guy. John Jones has been undefeated, has been dominating the MMA forever. This guy is basically literally your Floyd Mayweather, your Michael Jordan, your Kobe Bryant, your Tom Brady. You want to fucking name it. Your Patrick Mahomes. This is your guy in an MMA. Why has this guy been underpromoted? Why is this guy's popularity not what it needs to be? The bottom line, the reason why is because John Jones is representative of a guy who doesn't fit the mold of what the UFC is supposed to be. When you think of the UFC, you think of the inception of the sport, and you think of how the sport started. You even think of how the sport became about. The bottom line is when you look at the guys that are involved in the sport, they don't look like no damn John Jones. They don't represent the background of a John Jones. They don't have the trash talking. They don't have the, dominance that a John Jones has. So, of course, you're not going to get behind that if you're an average UFC fan. Do you guys not realize that the average UFC fan, every time John Jones fights, it's like Floyd Mayweather. They want this guy to lose. They're betting on this guy to lose. And those that are John Jones supposed fans are fans that are actually low-key John Jones haters at the same time too. Oh yeah, we like John Jones because he's so dominant. But at the same time, they're telling themselves, we won't mind if this motherfucker lose. They're rooting for him to lose. And every time he has an opponent coming up, oh yeah, this guy can beat him. This guy can beat him. Well, you know damn well the guy's not on the level to beat John Jones. My thing is, why did it take Donald Trump? And I'm noticing this pattern here, that it's always Donald Trump that has to come in and save the day to make these guys that are considered polarizing, these guys that are considered an issue, these guys that are considered controversial. It takes for him to come in and say, I co-sign this guy. I give my stamp of approval. Why does he have to give his stamp of approval for these guys to be accepted? This is the pattern that I'm seeing. Because when you had Tyron Woodley that was dominating in his respective era for as long as he was, Dana White wasn't paying attention to him. Israel Adesanya, do you know how many times Dana White makes this guy tank and lose fights just so that he could come back and win? Okay, you won enough, so now I want you to lose to this guy. Now if you lost to this guy, I want you to come back and beat this guy. Now I want you to lose. Now I want you to beat this guy. Do you not understand how many times guys like Francis Ngannou, that's why he had to leave the UFC to go get a boxing contract, because he was just too dominant as a fucking super heavyweight. What I'm noticing is a pattern. When it's guys that look like me, you, and Richie Rich, and they're dominant in the UFC, Dana White has basically restrictions. He has limitations on where he can push their career. But he didn't have that limitation with George St. Pierre. He didn't have that limitation with Iceman. He didn't have that limitation with Tito. He didn't have that limitation with guys like girls like Ronda Rousey. Why does he have limitations with those types of individuals?
I'm gonna tell you why. Their fan base is not only consistently made up of white people, but consistently made up of the specific type of white person who don't really want to see black men win. You know what I'm saying? So if he has one that's winning, it's somehow, some way, it has to be something to them. So you notice whenever these guys, it's always like some type of conspiracy or some controversy that happens. If they can't win, if they can't lose in the ring, they'll make them lose outside of the ring, type shit. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why now you might see John Bones Jones get treated better is because who's these people? Who's the ring leader of these people now? Trump. And now Trump co-sign you. Yep. Now it's cool for them to like you. That means it's cool for him to treat you like something. This is all business. This thing. It's all a business thing. You know what I'm saying? Is it? He's trying to make sure his core audience is always pleased, even if it's racially motivated. You know what I'm saying? He don't care. Yeah. And now that he's accepted by Trump, that means politically he's protected if he lets this guy thrive now because Trump's fucking with him.
Yep.
That's like the best thing that could have happened to John Bone Jones. Is Trump give him a shout out. Now he don't have to worry about Dana White trying to strip him of a belt for no reason.
Because you know the thing with Trump, and people get on him about it, but you know the thing with Trump as a white man that I like, he's the very few white men on the planet that I could respect, because with him it's not about color, it's about greatness. He surrounds himself around greatness. If you're great, I don't give a fuck what color you are. I'm gonna say you great. That's just how he is. You can see that in his pedigree. He's gonna get behind winners. Donald Trump's all about winners.
Trump used that market of people to become president, because that was his best way to become president. He don't respect those people, and he don't have their mentality. But he don't care if he look bad for a representative, as long as he gets his way.
Exactly.
But Trump said in 1986 on the Oprah Winfrey Show, it would be easy for someone like me to win president. All I have to do is appeal to the lower class working white people because they'll get behind anybody.
He's not lying though. He's not lying.
And if you think I'm lying, you could go on YouTube right now. You could pull it up. Trump interview with Oprah Winfrey on Oprah Winfrey show. He knew he could become president. All he got to do is get behind those people and support their ideals.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a viral video on TikTok about Trump saving TikTok, right? But they don't want to give him credit. You notice all of these people was, oh, we hate Trump. We don't want Trump. We can't stand Trump. And these are the same people, all these liberals and all these so-called people, these are the same people are the biggest consumers of TikTok, the biggest fans of TikTok. He comes in and saves the day, and none of them are there to tell him thank you for doing that. This motherfucker got this shit back online after hours, and they can't even tell the motherfucker thank you.
I made a video about that shit. This motherfucker said, these motherfuckers said, I was Uncle Tom. Me. Yep. They called me an Uncle Tom. Yep. I said, damn. Yep. So you mean tell me just calling shit how it is make you an Uncle Tom? Yep. Just because it's something you don't want to hear? Yeah. That's how you know this political shit is a cult, man. Yeah. It's a cult. Because the truth don't matter. If somebody they don't like does something that benefits them, they'll act like it didn't even happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
And they're the biggest consumers of TikTok. They're the biggest supporters of TikTok. They're the biggest galvanizers of TikTok. You would think they would all say, you know what? I can't stand this motherfucker. Because here's the thing about human beings, and this is why I know the state of human beings is so trash these days. And Generation Z folks, I really wonder about them. Is because in previous generations, even when they didn't like somebody, you know what they still did? They still swallowed their pride and still they gave that person credit. And said, I may not like this motherfucker, but I appreciate what they did for this situation. Blah, 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 blah. Nowadays, even though the person has done something that is in direct of a benefactor for you, you still don't want to give the motherfucker credit. And you still go on your high horse to give this motherfucker even more egregious attacks. Now, mind you, think about it. All of these supposed influencers are making tons and tons of money on TikTok. This man saved your livelihood. Right. Some people, that's their only livelihood. And you can't do a fucking video to thank this man for the fact that you can continue to get a fucking paycheck? Are you fucking kidding me?
You want to know why they doing that video? Because politics is so strong. It's mainly black people who should be doing it. Mm-hmm. Politics is so strong in the black community. Your family would discommunicate themselves from you if you said anything positive about Trump. One of my aunties tried to deride me and try to talk down to me. And one of my comments on Instagram, she sent me a private. I can't believe you said that. You know, you are a Ross. You can't. I don't support Trump. I said I don't even vote. Yeah. But the truth is the truth. I said the politics is not real like you think it is. Mm-hmm. Everything is going on. Think about it. It don't take 249 years to get anything right.
Fact.
The democratic process has been going on for 249 years. Basically, what I'm saying is they've been voting and arguing about how to run this country for 2 centuries and a half. Mm-hmm. It don't take that long to do anything right. Mm-hmm. They're doing all this shit on purpose.
Exactly.
All this is being done on purpose, so I don't believe in it. But if somebody do something that makes sense, I'm gonna give them their credit, whether y'all like it or not. I love you to death, but I don't believe in politics. She was mad as a motherfucker.
Yeah, we think the same way. Oh, trust me, I get hell too. You know, and here's the thing. You know what's funny about it? You not only deal with that shit. This is how brainwashed people are, right? You not only have to deal with that nonsense from what that John Jones has to deal with on the MMA side. Forget just being black and saying that you're a MAGA supporter, right? Here's the thing. Even in the dating world, I've seen this. Women out the gate, their first statement is, "Are you a Trump supporter?" And I laugh because it's like, this is how brainwashed they are. I laugh because they're like, well, if you're a Trump supporter, then I can't fuck with you. I can't rock with you. And I'm sitting there and I'm shaking my head and I'm like, And this is what I tell them, and this it shuts them down every time. You like TikTok, right? Oh, I love TikTok. How do you feel about Trump saving TikTok? You know what? I ain't gonna lie. You do got that one. It's just it shuts the conversation down. Because when you hit people with the truth, yeah, they may get mad, they may not like it, but it'll shut a motherfucker down real quick and make them think. You like TikTok, right? Because I don't know no woman on the planet. Women are the biggest consumers of TikTok, biggest consumers of any fucking thing. When you want somebody to buy something, go to a woman before you go to a man, because men will think before they buy. So when you talking to a woman, you're talking to her about her TikTok love and her TikTok fetish or whatever, you say, Trump saved TikTok within hours. And they know this. They all know it. They're like, yeah, he did. I ain't gonna lie, he did. How do you feel about it? I ain't gonna lie, I don't like him, but he saved it. That right there is I'm saying this for anyone that's listening. If you want to get her to continue on with you, that's what you tell them. Trump saved TikTok.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm gonna pass it to Richie Rich after I get to saying this. If a woman lead a conversation, I don't care how she looks. If she lead a conversation talking about wherever politics you into, that's gonna determine the further how. I don't want to fuck with her no way. Because you are too far. You are. You know how the scriptures say, "Be ye in the world of not of the world." You are too much of this world for me to deal with on a day-to-day basis, where you make your decisions off of superficial shit that don't really mean anything. I have people say, "If you're a non-vaxxer, stay away." Did they know some people was forced to be vaxxers, didn't want to be a vaxxer? Yeah. Do they know some people? Do they know certain things ain't got nothing to do with them? If somebody decide to be a vaxxer, I disagree with that, but I don't make my whole assumption about that person based on one life decision. What if they was told this job that you love so much is going away if you don't do this shit, and they got kids? What they supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't make judgmental. I don't make super judgmental decisions on people based on one decision. I try to bring in the context of why somebody would do something. I'm not just like some people might think he's just like that with Lamar. I'm like that with everybody. He knows that. Before I cut you off completely, I try to understand what you did, because the way I handle myself is so absolute. I need to know I need to know just the right thing for me to do, because once I go there, it's over with.
Yeah, this man cut me off, almost made me cry, cutting me the fuck off, man.
I need to know that shit, man. So Richie Rich, if you, from my understanding, you married or you got somebody serious, but let's say you didn't. Let's say you were still in a single. If you sit down for dinner with a bride and she say, "Oh, if you're a Trump supporter, I can't deal with you. Let me know now." How would you handle this?
I'm gonna tell you like this, Ross. You see, it's good you asked him that question. You remember Tommy on Martin? Remember how the whole time, even till today, a motherfucker still don't know what Tommy do. They don't know his job. Right. That's Richie Rich's dating life, man. That shit is so secretive. I don't know who you fucking with, man. Me and my brothers, we talk about this shit all the time. It doesn't, and we know he's doing shit. It's shit's so secretive, man.
Right.
It's the most secretive motherfucker I ever known on the planet with that shit. But okay, I'm glad you asked that question, because now I'm gonna stay quiet and I'm be interested to see what this motherfucker got to say. This will be the first time I heard anything about anything dating related coming out of his mouth.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to take her seriously, man, because politics,
for real,
like you said before, it's not what how the media portrays it to be, man. You know what I'm saying? They try to make it this whole Democrat versus Republican stuff, but every side is they're pretty much on the same side. Every side has an agenda. They're trying to do something, like pretty much to to satisfy their side. You know what I'm saying? But it's both sides are you know, they how can you say it? They both are after the same agenda.
Facts.
You know, one party is going to come in and do have their principles, like their how do you say it? Like what Donald Trump is doing now, where he's trying to wipe away all the stuff that the Biden administration did. But that's all part of the game, man. You know, you're gonna come in with your policies, all that type of stuff, and then
Right.
every side after every 4 years or 8 years, they're gonna have their opportunity. But I think it's like it's kind of crazy, man. Like when you know, a female wouldn't mess with you over like who you view or who you support, and whether it's Democrat or Republican, man. Like people take it too like crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like he knows he could agree with me when it like our parents, man, they're like huge Democrats, and they take it to the extreme, you know, like
yeah. At the end of the day, y'all might be Haitian, but we the same. Black people think Democrats are the saviors of the black people, man.
They think they're the saviors, man. Like these people are gonna like you know how Jesus Christ, how he turned water into wine. Right. Come on, man. That's what they think. It's crazy, man. It's like a whole con job.
I love, because you know what, you gotta have respect for the elders, man. Like if y'all ever brought me around y'all family, I would treat y'all family like I treat my own family. It would be no disrespect. Yes, ma'am. Yes, even I could be totally disagreeing with them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Do you consider this? Do you consider that? But it won't be no back and forth disrespect type shit. So I love that generation, but that generation is stuck in their ways, and they don't consider nothing new, man. They don't consider shit new. They don't give a how much empirical data you bring to them. They don't care, man. You can't tell them people shit about Bill Clinton. They think Bill Clinton, it was the truth. You tell them Bill Clinton and Joe Biden worked to keep black people in jail and made laws to fuck with. They do not want to hear that.
They don't.
As far as they're concerned, that did not happen.
You tell Haitians Bill Clinton had their family set up camp in Haiti just to steal all of the natural resources from there and bring it into America. Oh, they don't hear that shit. No, exactly. No. They don't want to hear that.
Hey, go ahead and give him the right cash up because he said he can't find you.
Oh, you can't find me?
Yeah, but anyway, Richard Rich, why you doing that? I'm finna tell him this.
Oh, I don't have Cash App no more. Cash App banned me for some reason. Let me give you the Venmo.
You want to know why? You probably didn't change it over to the business or change it back. If you don't change it back,
probably what it was. That's probably what it was. Yeah, I tried to open up a new one. They've been giving me problems over that.
Yeah, but anyway, he knows. That's not he knows, but Richie Rich. I was on a date with a woman who said, I need to know two things. What do you think about Trump? And what do you think about Beyonce? Because that's going to tell me everything. I'm like, what you mean?
Oh, hell no.
I'm letting you know right now, I'm a Trump killer and I'm for Beyonce. I got the fuck up in love. I left her. Because, first of all, bitch, I don't want nobody who listens to Beyonce all the time.
Exactly, bro.
If you listen
that's
to Beyonce,
going to be on us again.
Well, if you listen to Beyonce that much to where you bringing that shit to a date, I don't want to deal with that because
what's your Cash App again? So you probably send it to yours.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go get my phone.
Yeah, because if you don't have Venmo, I'm gonna just put Ross's Cash App in there, and you could send it to his. Appreciate you, Dad in Phoenix. But yeah, man. I mean,
I don't want nobody bringing shit that don't make things that don't mean anything should have mean so much to you where you will make a life decision based upon it. You know what I'm saying? That's like me.
Women move so much like the wind. Women move so much like the wind that you can't even take anything they say serious. Because you guys know once you put the monster in them, they like, huh? What did I say then? I don't even remember. Yes, Daddy. They just move with the wind. That's why I don't even take what they say seriously in that moment, because once you sticking it to them, all their brain can think about is just them getting the.
Listen, Ross. She saved
yeah, I
you from misery, dog. Huh?
I can't type in the chat, can I?
Oh yeah, you can't. You if you can't type it in, just tell me it. I'll type it in.
No, I'm saying no. I'm looking for the actual.
Yeah, if you get on the live through YouTube, if you get on the live through YouTube, you'll type it in. Because I'm still on the free base version of the stream. Because nowadays these things charge way too fucking much money, man. And I'm
about to send it to you via text.
all right. Yeah, just send it to me and I'll put it in there. Yeah, when I saw what StreamYard was charging for next year, I was like, oh hell no. Y'all can't get that big, man. Fuck that shit.
Boy.
It makes sense if you're gonna use it every day, but if you're not using your money.
Exactly.
Yeah. I always like when they tell on themselves early.
You see, I didn't even know Richie Rich was slick like that. You need to ask him more questions, man. I'm learning about this motherfucker's dating life through you asking questions. This motherfucker's so secret.
Yeah, man, because man, some people are just need to know basis. They hitting women is not something they get. They're not going crazy because they hit somebody. Now they got to tell the whole world. It is what it is. It's something they do. They need to know basis with certain shit. And he need to know basis when it comes to who he laying down with or who he seeing. He don't feel the need to tell everybody that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense when me personally, when I know I'm not going to be super serious with somebody, I don't bring around family and I don't introduce them to friends. For what? What the fuck y'all need to meet this person for? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
But she gonna figure out real quick what she is when she see you not doing that. She like, how come I never met your friend? But I haven't talked with one of your friends. I haven't had dialogue with one of your friends. Okay, she already know what category she placed in.
I like that, man. Damn, I didn't know you was a savage like that. I'm learning some shit about you, man. Why? Ross have to ask you fucking questions, man. That's fucked up, bro. I'm supposed to know these things about you, man.
You way over there.
I asked. That motherfucker didn't say nothing. He was being like Tommy, man.
Yeah. Oh, he probably wants you to give him a long ass soliloquy. Like, see, this is what you got to do, man. He probably ain't want you to do that.
He want to do it his own way. I got it.
But anyway, man. So when it comes down, you bringing that to the forefront, it shows you just how we are manipulated. If you ask me, it's divided into different parties that's supposed to run the country together. Lets you know it was never created to actually run the country. Why are they called two different things? By doing that, you are symbolically, if not anything, separating the country, right? And ideally, we're being separated. That's number one.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all ever been in trouble with the police, but to keep you off balance and to manipulate you when you're in an interrogation, you don't get two cops to come in on the same page. You get two cops. Yep. One is, you already know he's not fucking with you. He's acting overly aggressive, and the other one is acting like they're trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with politics. You got the so-called heavy-handed Republicans. Then you have the Democrats that's like flattering you, like, we're here to help. Do you need anything? Blase, blase. But at the end of the day, the ones who are flattering you is the worst cop.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? They're both on the same team. They take a break. They go outside and they talk about you. Like, damn, like, we're not breaking him or blah, blah, blah. Then they come back with a new thing. You know what I'm saying?
Good cop, bad cop.
It's all the manipulation. The fact that there are two opposing sides that represent two opposing things. They're supposed to be running one country. means that they're here to manipulate. They're not here to make
There's no
anything better.
difference
You know
between
what
a
I'm saying?
cop and a drug dealer because drug dealers do the same shit too. You have one that's in your
Right.
face, pressing you, right? Telling you, man, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you. That's the bad cop. And then you got the other one talking to you smoothly, while the other one telling you, hey, man, I can't hold him back. I can't hold him back. You know, you gotta say what
Right.
you gotta say. The ideology is the same. It's just the uniform is different.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
a different
You
uniform.
know what I'm saying?
That's just like, businessmen in the stock world market. They rob people worse than drug dealers, but they do it with a
Way
smile on their
worse.
face and they do it with a suit. And because they do
Right.
it with the way that they look, you think that you're trusting of them. These cryptocurrency people, they do it because you think they're trusting of them by the way that they look, but they robbing you even worse than the motherfucker that
Boy,
is gonna rob you.
they are knocking niggas' dicks in the dirt
Yeah,
with
and
that
that's what
shit,
even
man.
50
Like
Cent did.
they are they
Like,
are they are taking people long term savings.
Yeah.
Like
50 Cent
people
said that
really
shit,
believe
man.
like
50 was like, man,
a coin.
when I started dealing with them motherfuckers, I was like, man, I'm even out of my depth with this. The way they scamming the people and they doing this shit with a smile on their face.
Bro,
Like they just doing this casual. They doing this thing nonchalant. Like this is every day. Like at least with us, we gotta stick you up. At least with us, we gotta slap a motherfucker. At least with us, we gotta like bitch slap you with a gun. They don't do none of that. They just doing that with a smile on their face.
the problem
That's
with
black.
people is they don't apply common sense to a lot of things. They don't apply common sense to a lot of things. They apply their emotions to it. And as long as you're applying your emotions to things that's being said to you, and you're not filtering what's being said through a logic
Mm-hmm.
filter, you can always be easily finessed because it sounds very good that you could invest real. Well, the money's not even real, but it's real enough,
Yep.
right? You could invest so-called real money into a coin that don't exist, and you could quadruple your money. That sounds great, but in reality, it don't make any sense that you could do
Yeah.
that. So you could invest money that's not backed up by anything. So this money is really numbers in the
Mm-hmm.
system. If you could invest this shit that's not even really
Yep.
real into something that's not
Yep.
real, and you could get more money.
Yep.
That don't make
Sense.
sense.
Make it make sense.
Only logic would be for people to come together and be writing and saying we need to get money back by gold
Yep.
again. That's the only logic that should be happening. The fact that people think they can take money and invest it into a symbol, or they even have people investing into
Mm-hmm.
pictures. Remember the picture of the
Yep.
monkey?
Yeah.
They had niggas invested $10,000 into pictures of monkeys. NFTs. NFTs, bro.
The
Like,
NFTs.
bro, you can talk people into nowadays. As
Yep.
long as it sounds good. This shit crazy.
Because you what you're doing is you're banking off how gullible that they are. That's what you're banking off of. And that's where sound ethical business is, even though it's still around, because I practice that, it's kind of ancient history and prehistoric in a sense because people are just more into not being practical and not being ethical. They just want to get that dollar off of you and try to scam you out as much as possible. It's just like I had these people that was going to be staying for a month, and I'm glad they're gone. Good riddance to them, because how you gonna stay over for a month? Then you gonna tell me, here's the catch. Here's the caveat. You're gonna tell me you're gonna have visitors come. It's gonna be additional people.
Right.
You obviously read the disclaimer that says there's additional fee for additional people, but you're gonna want them to stay for a few weeks. But you want to pay the baseline of just y'all two. And when I bring up, hey, this is what the fee is gonna be for the additional people. Oh, yeah, we did see that. Here's the thing. We saw that, but it just didn't make sense to us. We just wanted to know. But so why you bring it up to me? You're gonna have these people coming through when you saw that this is what the additional fee was. This is what you did. You
Right.
punched the numbers. You saw what the difference was gonna be for additional V's versus baseline. You still paid for the baseline, but then you wanted to see if I was gonna be gullible enough to tell you, oh no, it's all good. No. If you're gonna have additional motherfuckers coming through, I have to prep for additional motherfuckers coming through. I'm gonna charge you for the additional motherfuckers that's coming through because
Right.
I have to do overhead and the preparation for the additional motherfucker. I have to make sure everything's ready. That's more work on my end, so I have to charge you for that. But then you want to turn around and tell me, "Oh no, that doesn't work." Okay, it may
Right.
not necessarily work for you. It may not necessarily work for you, and that's fine. And okay,
Yeah.
it may not necessarily work for you or whatnot, you know. But then you want to turn around. So yeah, let me just stop real quick and say this. What's the name again? Dad in Phoenix. Yeah, just send it to my Venmo. Just go ahead and
Yeah.
send it to my Venmo. I put it in
Yeah.
the live. Venmo is at He Knows His Sport, and then I'll go ahead and distribute it out to Raw. So just send it that way. Um, so yeah, so then they canceled, and then they tell me in the message as if I was gonna respond. Oh, we changed our destination because we weren't gonna be able to have people come in and go. I don't even respond to that shit. In my mind, I'm like, I'm blessed. So I already knew I was gonna get somebody else that was gonna fill in the slot. But I
Right.
already told earlier somebody else is gonna fill in your slot. I know what I'm bringing to the table, so I don't care when somebody cancels because I know somebody else is gonna book. Another person book. You see how good God is. Another person book. They have additional guests coming in, and they pay for their additional guests. They ain't even need me to tell me, hey, we have additional guests that's coming in. Blah 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 blah. They paid for it because they
Right.
are going by things the way that you're supposed to go by it. I'm saying all of this to say that even though I told this type of story is prehistoric to the reality of what's going on. The reality of what's going on is those first people. Most people in the world think like the way those people think.
Trying to get over it.
They want what they want, and then they want to get over on top of that.
Right.
But here's
Right.
the thing with those types of individuals. Those types of individuals are the same individuals that get over on
Right.
because their mind is such in using that they find somebody that's just a better user than them that uses them. And this is
Yeah.
hence why
Right.
God has created. I believe God created Bitcoin. I believe God created all of these scammers. And the reason why I say this is because for users like this, because these people use people and they get over on people. So God created higher level users to get over on them.
Right. 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 Basically saying you reap what you sow.
Exactly.
You
Pretty
reap what you
much.
sow, man.
Because
Yep.
just when you think you're good at something, you're going to find somebody that's even better.
That's better.
Because how am I going by the book and giving you something great, being ethical and moral, laying everything out disclaimer wise to you, but then you want to be creative and slick and think you can get over just by, I don't care that you book, I don't care that you paid. I'm still going to look at everything. And me, I always ask that question because I already know it's the question to decide if you're getting over on me or not. How many
Right.
people are coming? I always ask that question. Oh well, we're gonna have three. Okay, well, did you read where it says if you have three or more guests, is an additional fee? I already know your nose is gonna go up when I say that, or you're gonna abide by it and do it.
Right.
When it's two or less, you don't never gonna get that question from me. You're gonna get that script that says enjoy your stay. I'm gonna send you check-in instructions 24 hours in advance. Blah blah blah. You're gonna get that script. But when you should play that game where you're like, no, I'm gonna have three or more, I'm gonna have more people coming in. I'm gonna see if your nose gonna go up. You're gonna try to run one on me, or if
Right.
you just gonna say, okay. Sometimes people don't even read all the way through, and I get that part too, because a lot of people, we live in a world where people just don't go skim through shit. Be like, oh, I didn't see that, but then they end up paying later. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that too. But either way, you gonna pay. Because just
Right.
like you're gonna pay the person that's gonna scam the hell out of you, you need to be paying me. That's going by the book too. That's just the way it works.
Right.
Now, Richie Rich, me and Ross got to get on you, man, because you were so disrespectful. You think I forgot? I didn't forget about your rabbit ass. You were so disrespectful to say that Kobe Bryant's ability in winning championships because he didn't win no Finals MVP with Shaquille O'Neal is on the same level with Stephen Curry and him not winning no Finals MVP. You have a lot of answering to do with this, man. Oh, you can hold on now. You definitely can hold on because I get it. You need to go drink some water because you got to prepare yourself for this onslaught that you about to go get. But here's my thing with this. You cannot put Kobe Bryant and Stephen Curry in the same breath.
Right.
And the reason why you can't put them in the same breath is because I saw somebody on TikTok, i.e. BJ Armstrong, say this, and I was surprised that BJ Armstrong said this on his own TikTok. And this is why I try to tell you the center position is a fucking joke. And I've been saying this shit for the longest. I don't respect the center position. And the reason why I don't respect that position in basketball is because it's a position that's dependent upon the dominance of a guard play. Because the center has to get the ball dumped into him. He's dependent upon the ball getting fed to him. He can't really make nothing happen for himself. He's dependent upon somebody being dominant at that perimeter position to make the ball dominant for him. You know, BJ Armstrong said that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant aren't really shooting guards. They're really centers. And I was laughing because I was like, I could have sworn I've said some shit like this before. I could have sworn Ross said some shit like this before. You have to understand, when you operate from the post, you already operate as a center. But here's the thing. Jordan and Kobe is operating at their position, bringing the ball up. So not only are they doing Shaq's job, not only are they doing the center's job, they're doing every other job on the basketball court along with that job. So you can't compare Kobe Bryant's supposed not winning MVPs, finals MVPs, with Stephen Curry, because we know when you watch and you look at everything Kobe Bryant did for those first 3 rounds in the Western Conference, Kobe basically secured the position so that he could take a vacation in the finals for Shaq to get the finals MVP. That's different than Stephen Curry, who basically is a shooter, mind you. I don't know when we've ever said a guy who only does one thing well on the basketball court. He doesn't do anything else. He could just shoot the ball really well, because there used to be a category for that, just a 3-point shooter. I don't know when we've ever said a guy who is just a 3-point shooter can be on the same realm with a guy like Kobe Bryant, who's an all-purpose basketball player. Since when have we ever created these rules to make them on the same level?
The problem with Kobe is the media kind of molds your legacy. And you have 2 legacies. You have the legacies that the fans think of you, and you have the legacies that the media think of you. And the media controls these accolades. The media controls these accolades. Let's say to go back to Lamar. If Lamar Jackson was a cool person, he wouldn't have had the MVPs that he has. Because it only has so much to do with what you actually do on the field. They have to like you too. They have to really like you. If they don't, they're gonna step on you. So when you look at Kobe, and you actually watching the playoffs unfold, and you're watching how Kobe affects Shaq, you have to realize that Finals MVP is coming down because one guy is more seen than the other. Because when you look at it, Kobe is making Shaq's playability so easy. Most of the time, Shaq was getting the ball and getting wide open dunks. Wide open because so many people are attracted to Kobe. Kobe's dumping it off, no look, and Shaq just dunking, boom, boom. Whenever Shaq was put in a position where he actually had to play basketball, they took him out the game because he was a liability. So when I look at Kobe, I don't look at Kobe in the way where I look at Scottie Pippen. I look at Kobe in a way where he was more than what Scottie Pippen was, because Kobe had to actually carry the team in the most clutch moments. And I don't really see Curry doing that. If you ask me, Durant was the one that was coming through in the clutch in those title rounds, and Curry wasn't. So you have to give. I don't agree with but he knows that the center position doesn't mean anything. I don't agree with that because you gotta defend and you got to score in the post. So I don't believe in that. But what I do believe when it comes to Shaq, I believe Shaq got way more credit than what he's supposed to get because he had another perimeter player, did he not? He had one of the best perimeter players in the league when he was with the Magic. He had Penny Hardaway, and he failed. Why? Because Penny Hardaway wasn't in the clutch. That was the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaq was still Shaq. Obviously, Shaq was better on the Orlando Magic. He was ridiculous on the Orlando Magic. But he couldn't get it done with that team. The difference was Penny Hardaway wasn't Kobe. Kobe could score 15 times in a row. Penny couldn't do that.
But if you ask Penny, Penny will tell you he was more skilled than Michael Jordan, though.
Let me get my 2 cents in, man.
Yeah, man. Go crazy.
He knows he's slick. You see how he's trying to do these comparisons with Stephen Curry, Kobe Bryant. I would never compare Stephen Curry to Kobe Bryant. Are you crazy? Kobe's body of work? No, right. never would I put Stephen Curry on Kobe's level. That's just insane. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
What was the difference? You said what's the difference between Curry and Kobe?
This all hinges from him not wanting to give Curry his credit when Curry won his Finals MVP when he knocked out Boston in that series. This is what it all hinges to. He knows
you got to.
He knows don't like that. He knows don't like that Curry won that ring because it proves that yeah, he did it with Kevin Durant was on that team, but Curry was still able to be victorious without KD.
Oh, he on that shit. Oh,
he was still able to be victorious without KD. He don't like that. He don't like that, though. That's why he tries to degrade. He tries to degrade Curry as many times as possible. I'm trying to put him in his place.
Right.
Curry is not no cupcake, dog. Curry was on that stage and he showed up and he showed out. He is not no punk. He is not no punk.
Where's Golden State? Where's Golden State currently right now?
They're not good because we know their situation.
You know why they're not good?
Let me explain myself. Let me explain myself. You gotta let me explain myself.
We gotta let them go because we went. We gotta let them go.
Yeah, listen.
He's not a big bro. He's not a big bro.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do, but it ain't gonna work because you know why Golden State is why they are. It's because the GMs around the league. They turned that they made that CBA to destroy the Golden State Warriors. This is why they can't. It's for most teams. The way the NBA landscape is now, you cannot have all these players that's making all that money on your team because you're gonna be hit with that second apron. You know what it's about. He knows. You know what it's about. No team wants to be hit.
That's true.
No team wants to be hit with that crazy penalty tax. Paying for 30-year-old players. They had to let Klay Thompson go. And plus, they can't go if they're paying Curry $60 million, they're paying Draymond $25. They can't go get another player because come on, Curry is 36, about to be 37. Do you really want to be paying all that crazy money for Curry, who's about to be out the league in the next 2 years? Curry has to, if he wants to contend for championships, he has to go on a stacked roster. He has to leave, take less money, and go on another team because the CBA is so crippling. You hear LeBron and AD? They were complaining today. They came out and complained, saying that they need to do something to make that team around them more competitive. Those guys are making the most money in the team. The Lakers can't do anything because guess what? LeBron is making 50. AD is making $60 million. They can't go get another premier player because the CBA. I ain't gonna lie. The owners they got the players. They screwed the players on this CBA because you really can't contend unless you a team like OKC where you got all these young players and you only got one player making max dollars and the rest of the guys are young and they on them rookie deals, them short money deals. That's the only way you can contend now. You really can't contend because if you got two max players already and you got one young player that's up and coming and his contract is coming where you got to pay him max, those guys are eating up about 70% of the salary cap. You only got 20% left to pay the rest of the players to fill out the roster. And if you do a bad job at that, you're not gonna win. Your roster is gonna be top heavy. Like you really gotta learn the personnel, the guys they have scouting and looking to find players. They really gotta earn their money now. They really gotta look for the right players to fit the team so that teams could have a right formula and to have a chance to really compete. Boston got it right, but Boston's gonna be in trouble soon because they went out and maxed all their players. So probably the next year they're gonna have to break up that team. They're not gonna be able to afford all those guys. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
I think the team sells what, $6 billion. That's insane.
Yeah, but everybody has to go. It doesn't matter how much a team sells. They go by the salary cap.
No, it matters because if you get an owner that comes in that's tightwad, that's not like the owner they have now.
The owner sold the team. The owner is selling the team because look at the picture. Michael Jordan got out. He got his $3 billion from the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban sold out. These guys don't want to pay these crazy amounts of money. And this is gonna segue into another topic about why the NBA he knows he put that topic on that he blaming Steph Curry and LeBron James why the NBA is losing money. You can't put it on them. You can't put it on them. You can't put it on them. He knows. You crazy with that.
Richie Rich is slick. Richie Rich slick like a motherfucker. He tried to go into another topic.
Exactly. He tried to go on another topic.
No. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish what I gotta say. I'm gonna finish what I gotta say. But we definitely gonna hit on that topic too. But pretty much
have to be honest about why you said there's no difference, because you did say that. You text me that there's no difference between Curry and Kobe.
No, I said what's the difference?
And when I told you, when I told you, are you ready to argue that? Are you ready? Actually, not argue, because there's no argument between us. Are you ready to debate that between me and Ross? You said bring it on, bring on the smoke.
Yeah, so bring it on. This is what I said. He knows. Here's what I said. I watched those finals with you. I saw Kobe's value in those finals. I know what he did to help Shaq get those finals MVPs. And I saw what Curry did. But that doesn't matter to the casual. They just gonna see that one guy got the finals MVP unless they go back into watch those videos on YouTube. I don't know if they got full link game videos on YouTube
coming upon
to
us
watch those games. But those people aren't gonna care about that.
As journalists, it's our integrity to basically give the distinction between why one's is greater than the others. We have that responsibility. We can't just let everybody with the integrity that we have as journalists to not say, hey, Kobe's was greater than Curry's for this reason, X, Y, Z. We can't just let the status quo say they're lumped in the same code.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Kobe didn't get the finals MVP. But I would never put him on Curry's. I would never put Curry on his level. That's just crazy, absurd. You tried to make it as to where I'm putting him on Kobe's level. I would never do something like that.
Kobe didn't get the fight because of the way they wanted to play, not because he didn't deserve it. The easiest way to beat the East Coast, because the East Coast had what?
They had weak centers. Yeah.
The easiest is to give this nigga the ball every play. It don't mean he was better than Kobe, but I got to go back to something you said. Mm-hmm. He said, if that's the case, why Curry not playing the way they're playing now? And instead of you talking about how they actually play on the court, you went into the soliloquy about it's a conspiracy against Golden State. Now there's no conspiracy against the Baltimore Ravens. They just need to be better. But the same. You ain't saying Curry don't need to play better. You said, oh, they handicapped because
exactly.
You said the league don't want to see them win no more.
No, because you know why he did that? You know why he did that, Ross? You know why he did that? Because he knows that I'm gonna bring up these 3 points. If you notice, every championship run that Curry had, Curry wasn't the factor. Here's the factor. The factor
Like,
is they have
you
Klay
can't
Thompson
say-
there.
you can't say he's
They have Klay Thompson
wasn't
there.
a factor.
They got
yeah,
Klay
he
Thompson
knows.
there. They got Andre Iguodala there, and then they got a guy who can close. If you notice, in all three of those championships or 4 championships he won, if you notice, every time Curry is struggling, Klay Thompson's either hurt or he's no longer there. Andre Iguodala's not on the damn team because he retired, and then you don't have your closer, in i.e. Andrew Wiggins or fucking Kevin Durant. So this guy's not winning because those 3 types of players are
Listen,
not there.
if that player isn't a factor, you don't call a box and one defense on that player to try to nullify him. Stephen Curry. You see how teams are trying to play Curry. They don't want him. They trying to guard him at full court before he even get across.
Are you serious?
Come on. Am I lying? Am I lying, Ross? Am I lying, Ross?
They're doing
Ross,
that right
am I
now,
lying?
and Curry's not even making the playoffs.
Ross, am I lying?
He knows. He
Come
knows.
on.
See, you lose me. You lose me when you say Curry wasn't a factor at all. You can't do that.
They don't even want that dude getting across half court until they pick him up because they so scared of his shooting. You tripping? He knows.
Curry's a factor. Curry's a factor. But I would say,
let's go to the Olympics, dog. Let's go. If Curry didn't do what he did in those Olympics, dog, come on now. I know he knows didn't like
you
that.
gotta understand.
So hold on, Curry struggled all those other Olympic games, but because he had
he closed them boys out. Isn't that what you care? Isn't that what matters
the last
to you?
2 or 3 games.
Isn't that what matters to you?
He the Olympics. Fuck
Don't
out of here.
contradict yourself.
Kobe
It's how you close. It's how you finish.
Hey, Ross,
and Curry
Ross,
closed.
Didn't Kobe carry the whole Olympics every motherfucking game? See, that's the difference between Kobe and Curry.
No, Kobe wasn't trying to play offense every game. He was doing it defensively.
Kobe
and in the last few games, he closed them out offensively.
That was his role.
Yeah, that's the role that he accepted. I'm not, but Kobe wasn't trying to be an offensive threat every game.
He didn't. The role that Coach K wanted him to play was the defense, because that's the reason why they was losing. They wasn't playing no
Ross,
defense.
you forgot. Remember, you brought it up. You brought it up, Ross. You remember? It was LeBron that complained. Yeah. Kobe was going to come in and take over everything, but LeBron complained to Coach K, oh, you can't let Kobe come in and take over everything. So you know what Kobe said? All right, Coach K, I'll just be the defensive specialist because of LeBron. If LeBron didn't complain,
and when you
Kobe
think
was
about
going
it,
to take over
when you think about
thing.
it, when you watch those games, it was his defense that the reason why they was winning.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
It was his defense the reason why they was winning. But here's my problem with both of y'all right here. When y'all care about something, y'all ass have no objectivity at all.
None.
You talking about he wasn't a factor at all. That's not true, man. Curry is a factor. But Rich, you gotta realize, if Curry didn't fit the description, they would not give him as much credit as they give him. They trying to tell us Curry is a better point guard than Isaiah Thomas. That's not the truth.
I don't agree with that.
And then they try to agree with that.
I would never
forget Isaiah Thomas. Forget Isaiah Thomas. They trying to put him past Magic Johnson.
This nigga hate Isaiah Thomas.
They trying to put him past Magic Johnson.
That's nonsense.
Right.
He's not even better than Zeke. Why are you putting him over Magic? And this is the thing. Here's the agenda. Stephen Curry is mad because this is what Stephen Curry tried to do. See, me and Michael Jordan, we do think alike, and we can be very selective, and we can. Ross called us out on our shit. We can be very biased about shit, but we can be also very truthful. Stephen Curry was trying to get on this whole. If you notice, he was trying to become this golf buddy of Jordan's. He thought he was slick. He was trying to say, "Oh, let me be golf buddies with Jordan. Let me golf with Jordan, so he can get on Jordan's good side. So that when he started getting up there in the pantheon, Jordan would give him the nod of approval." He got mad because Jordan called him out, and now he's talking against Jordan. When they asked Jordan, "Is Curry considered up there with the greatest of point guards?" Jordan said he's not even better than Isaiah. So how you gonna say he's better than Magic Johnson? And since then, you know what Curry said to Jordan? Because Curry looked at, man, come on, man, I've been playing golf with you, man. I've been doing all of this with you, and you gonna size me like that? You know what he said? This is the greatest player of all time now. He's gonna say, well, we don't
I got it.
We don't go by old heads. We don't go by old heads. And I'm like,
Right. How, how you call Jordan an old head? That's disrespectful.
he's the greatest of all time. How you gonna sit here and say we don't go by old heads? Are you serious? Don't go by old heads. Well, you don't go by old heads. That makes absolutely no sense to me when you say that nonsense. So he's the greatest basketball player of all time. You were schmoozing up to him because you was trying to play golf with him so he could put you up in the ranks. But then all of a sudden, when he knocks you down to your truest and most properest levels, you get mad. And this is what Jordan said, and this is why Curry's mad. Jordan said when they asked him about three-point shooting, because Jordan shot those 12 threes in the Portland Trailblazers game, they asked Jordan, how do you feel about the three-point ball? He's like, that's the least favorite part of my game. I'd rather go back to what I do better, which is operating from the post, layups, dunks. It's more efficient that way. This is obviously not the right way to play the game of basketball. Yeah, I was hot, but it's not the right game. I don't want to play this. I don't even want to touch this side of the game of basketball. I prefer to touch the other side of the game of basketball. You know, LeBron is such a snake, right? Because LeBron always got to be on the winner's side of the aisle. LeBron looked at what Jordan said, he looked at what Curry said, and he was like, Curry, I ain't gonna have your back. I'm gonna have Jordan's back because I want people to push this narrative that I'm better than Jordan. So LeBron said, this is how you could tell he's such a snake. LeBron was like, yeah, man, three-point shooting is the reason why the NBA is downhill. So LeBron don't want to take. Okay. All right, bro. Appreciate it. LeBron don't want to take Curry, right? LeBron don't want to take Curry's position because LeBron knows if he takes Curry's position, they also have to blame LeBron James on why the NBA revenue has gone down 48% because of the fact that you got two scenarios.
Right.
You have two scenarios. One, LeBron James is the reason why guys the revenue's down because of all this buddy. That means when you do buddy, you lack competition. There's no competitive element to the game of basketball. So he gets the 24% of the 48% fault because of that. Curry gets the other 24% because now you know what you're telling guys? You're telling guys forget dunks, which are the most exciting plays in basketball. Forget layups. Forget going to the basket. Forget crossing up guys. No, you could just come down and chack up a three. Now everybody's chacking up threes. This is why the game is so fucking boring. These two guys have ruined the game of basketball because now all you got to do is come shoot threes, or all you got to do is buddy up with people and win. And you know what the NBA fans have said? Because of those two guys, the NBA fans have said because of those two guys, the game is boring. We don't want to watch this garbage. It's nonsense. This is not what we remember basketball to be. There's no physicality. There's no dunking on guys. There's no highlights. There's no plays. There's no none of this. So guess what? We're not going to watch your sport. If you notice, in all the other sports in America, all of them have seen a 30% increase in revenue. And basketball is the only sport that has seen a 48% drop. So when I say LeBron James and Curry is the reason why the NBA revenue has gone down, it's because their two styles of plays have single-handedly ruined basketball. Because we all know when we played on the basketball court, there's a reason why there's a term called you live and you die by the three. We wasn't shooting threes because we knew the three was going to make us win. We shot the threes because we was trying to get out of a hole. If we was losing so bad and the point differential was so high, we would take the risk and shoot the three so we can get as close as possible. But we're not shooting that shot because it's the optimal shot to shoot. Curry has basically said, because I lack deficiencies in other elements of my game, this is the shot that I'm going to take. And guess what? I'm going to galvanize a whole generation of people that, and this is why Curry is so popular. It's not because of Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is not the fault. The fault is guys like me, you, and Ross have to play with on the basketball court. We know they ain't shit on the court. All they could do is just shoot threes. Those are the guys that made Stephen Curry famous because those guys ain't shit on the basketball court. We only pass the ball to those guys because we want you to shoot the three because we know you can't do nothing else on the basketball court. Those are the guys that made Stephen Curry famous. because those guys wasn't shit as basketball players. Let's be honest. So when people sit here and act like Stephen Curry is this and that, Stephen Curry represents the shit basketball player that you don't even want to pass the ball to unless you have to pass the ball to.
No, man.
That's what he represents. Not the guys that are the workhorse.
Here's the thing for Curry, boys.
Guys
there's no limit.
Do the heavyweight lifting on the basketball court, i.e. the Jordans, i.e. the Kobe's of the world. Not those types of guys. Curry represents the lamest basketball fan that just wants to say that, hey, consider me too. I'm part of the process too. And that's why Curry is so famous. He's not famous because he's great. He's famous because he has a legion of those fans that have pushed him. Let's be honest.
He's not a Kobe or Jordan because very few people will ever be Kobe or Jordan because they were as elite defensively as they are offensively. You rarely gonna, you know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson wasn't that. You're really gonna see that as elite defensively as they are offensively. That's pretty much damn near impossible. But Curry, because you want to know why? Curry can't get famous without the media. Media only make famous who the NBA tells to make famous. The NBA wrong basket.
Mm-hmm.
They put their eggs in the LeBron basket when it was supposed to even out. Back in the day, there was multiple stars. You remember that shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had Grandmama. You even had Muggsy Bogues was a star. You had Clyde Drexler. You had all these stars everywhere, and Michael Jordan was the biggest star because he was the best player. Now these guys, they wanted to force a style of play on the viewing to make a positionless basketball game to where or a shooting guard. He's just a guard. LeBron, what is LeBron James? Right? They wanted to make a positionless game, and that's not good for the people. Don't want to see that. And the major factor and the reason why the NBA has gone down more so than the style of play. It's because all these guys, there's no competitive edge.
Exactly.
No one takes the game serious no more. They're all friends. They don't fight no more. They don't argue no more. They no one cares. They play like they don't care whether they win or lose. After games, blowouts, they dap each other up, hugging each other. Who does that?
And you know who's the leaders behind it? We saw it in the Olympics. LeBron James and Stephen Curry. They're the leaders behind that shit. Buddy, shoot threes. Nobody gives a fuck about that type of basketball.
I mean, they're on the same team. They're going against the other world.
Those two guys,
they have to play like teammates.
It's unfortunate, but that's how basketball works. There's always one guy that either makes the sport or breaks the sport. You get behind him. Jordan put basketball at its highest level. Jordan globalized the sport. Kobe came in and kept the sport strong because he developed a mentality. We all know what that mentality is. The Mamba mentality. It was basically the unrefined Jordan mentality that wasn't defined yet. Kobe made it defined through Mamba mentality. Then guess what? The day Kobe Bryant dies, January 26, 2020, was the day basketball died. I keep telling everybody that. The day Kobe died was the day basketball died. The last of the Mohicans. Because as soon as he died, the sport hit a dip. And you could tell because all NBA fans and everybody else was like, yo, we realized how great this guy was. And you know how Charleston White said something that was so profound. He said, people don't measure men when men are around, right? They don't know how to give men their flowers when they're around. But it's not until men are not around and they're dead, people realize their impact. That's when everybody started realizing it. Oh, shit. This is the impact this guy did. Remember when the media was trying to push Kobe Bryant down and trying to make Kobe Bryant seem he wasn't on the levels. His death showed everyone all across genres. I don't care if it's men's basketball, women's basketball in general. You can't deny this man's greatness because greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. So they couldn't stop the greatness. The greatness had to exude. The greatness had to show what it was. But you know what that greatness also showed? It also showed guys getting on podcasts like Paul Pierce, guys getting on podcasts like Kevin Garnett saying, man, where's the competition in the All-Star games? You got guys like LeBron James telling on themselves saying, man, I hate it when Kobe Bryant used to make us compete in the All-Star game because why are you going so hard in the All-Star game? No, why aren't you going hard enough? Why are you telling guys to be lazy? Because it's fans
That's the reason why
have paid their money. These are NBA fans that have paid their money to watch you play. And you want to give them a lackluster performance? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. If you ask me, it's less about Curry, because to me, Curry's not the face of this league.
He's not.
He's one of the faces, but less about him. It's more about LeBron.
But they
James.
said the two faces in the NBA is LeBron James and Stephen Curry. So I got to blame both of them.
Right, but Curry, when it comes to winning, Curry is the reason why LeBron James will never be considered a GOAT, because he got so many championships on this man. Well, everybody got championships on this man's watch, but Curry got the most on this man's watch. But as far as the game, when you think this game, this day and age, like overall, you think Curry, because people shooting a lot of threes, but when you think about the vibe of this league, it's all LeBron. And they made it that way so he could dominate, and he still was a dominant. You got to understand one thing. When they say a player plays the right way, that means he plays like a player who can't dominate a game, and he must pass the ball.
Well,
think about it. Only media members say that shit. Nobody in the streets think the guy who needs to pass the ball all the time is the best player. We don't think that. We know the guy who can't be stopped is the best player. We know that. The man who can't nobody guard, the man who you can't get off the rebounds, the man who you can't guard one-on-one, you got triple team, that's the best player. We know that. Only in the NBA is the best player the guy who always passes the ball in the most pressurized moments.
But we can't let Curry off the hook too, because in basketball, we're not sitting there saying, "Hey," because you could make when guys shooting threes, we're not happy that he's shooting threes unless he's making them. But if he's missing them shits, we're like, why the fuck are you shooting them things?
This is the point I tried to make. He knows, man. Curry never encouraged these other teams to play his style. That's Golden State system. You remember how the NBA back in the day where every team had their style of play.
Reggie Miller,
you know, they brought their own style of play where you go. Their team is heavy post centered. They like to feed the big man in the post. The offense runs through him. Or you got a team they have an up tempo style. Or remember with the Phoenix Suns with Mike D'Antoni, the 7-second offense. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can play that style. You know what I'm saying? Curry plays his style. You're not Stephen Curry. Why are you trying to shoot
Why
like
was he
him?
so defensive when Jordan criticized him? If he's telling people don't play my style, I'm okay with it. Why you taking so much offense to what MJ's telling you when he says the three ball is a horrible way to play the game of basketball? I don't prescribe to that. And he was the first one to come out and say he don't know what he's talking about. That's my style of play, and that's the way I play. Why are you so defensive over it?
You know why he said that?
I mean, he's gonna defend his style. That's his style. He's won with that.
Why don't he come out and say, "Hey, this is the way I play. I don't prescribe that you play this way. It's not the ideal way to play, but this is the way I play." That should have been the response he should have said. But no, he don't say that. You know what he say? He says, "What's wrong with shooting the 3-point shot? Why are you so defensive over that?" You got to be defensive over that because you know that's the only way you could justify people saying you great. And the people that saying you great are the people we don't even let on the basketball court. That's what it boils down to. If we're being honest,
I tell you what,
the guys that we playing on the court that we don't even let on the court are the motherfuckers that's always shooting threes. We like, man, get your rabbit ass off the court.
I gotta go read.
Let's be honest. They're gonna play. It's Curry. Listen, Curry is great. The thing about Curry is he can't do. If Curry has him for his team to win, but he is great. But he couldn't do that on every team because every team is not built to play that way. So Jordan is right. It's not something that everybody could do, but Curry would have just been Reggie. He would have just been like Reggie Miller, a little greater Reggie Miller. If the NBA didn't do what they did. NBA never put their baskets in Reggie Miller. They put their eggs in Michael Jordan's basket. So they made Michael Jordan a star. When you make a player a star, you're telling little boys and girls to play this way. That's not Curry's fault. They're telling them.
Let me tell you about Curry.
The NBA.
So
let me tell you about Curry.
Basically, what y'all saying is Curry's a great 3-point shooter.
Let me tell you about Curry, dog. The NBA wasn't trying to put their baskets in Curry. Remember, Golden State Warriors came out of nowhere. LeBron was supposed to dominate when he was on Cleveland. Golden State came and snatched that title from him. Although he didn't have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, they still got the ring. You know what I'm saying? They were an impediment in LeBron's path at that time. LeBron was not able to go in.
Iguodala's defense.
Yes. Notice I said Golden State. I didn't say Stephen Curry.
Good.
You gotta hear me out. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't like Curry, though. I tell you, his disdain for Curry knows no bounds, dog. I told you. He don't like Curry for nothing. That's okay though. But, yeah.
Curry could play. He just got overrated because he beat LeBron James.
You know what I'm saying? Golden State. The NBA was not trying to put their bags in Curry's basket.
You know what my problem is? You know what my problem is, Ross? If they was doing this type of shit for Reggie Miller, I would have no problem for Stephen Curry. When Reggie Miller was around, they put him in the box of where he belonged. They didn't never say he was a great player. They say he was a great 3-point shooter. So why are we changing the narrative for Curry? Curry ain't no great player. He's a great 3-point shooter.
Because Reggie Miller wasn't putting the ball. Reggie Miller wasn't putting the ball on the floor like Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry plays a different way.
But to be a great player, you have to be all purpose. You have to do everything. That's what player represents. Offense and defense.
Can I tell you why? Curry's style of play is more exciting. That's number two. That's number one. And number two, Curry is liked by the media. Reggie Miller was not. The media controls your narrative.
Reggie Miller.
If Kobe was
he had
more
a mean streak to him.
If Kobe was more liked by the media, it wasn't mean. They would have. They wouldn't wait till he died to give him his credit. He would get his credit while he was walking around. But Kobe didn't give a fuck about media. Michael Jordan was polished, so he kind of forced them. He forced them because he was able to play politics. Kobe never cared about politics. He came in this game and said, "Fuck everybody."
I believe Kobe was gonna be.
I don't know if y'all remember Reggie, dog. Reggie looked soft, but that boy wasn't soft. You see, that boy was trying to fight Jordan. He was trying to fight Kobe. Reggie Miller wasn't no soft.
I gotta tell y'all something. The media is filled with people who they were never the jocks. They always came second to the jocks. The jocks took their girlfriends, right? The jocks was the reason why they didn't have any dates. The jocks was the reason why nobody wanted to dance with them at prom. The best way to get back at these dudes is now I control your future and I control your legacy because I write about you. So you got to kiss my ass now. You got to play my game. Or you don't want to play my game? Well, guess what? You're not going to get this MVP. Steve Nash going to get this MVP. Because Steve Nash was one of us. He was getting cheated on and they would beat him up and shit like that. Kobe came to the league telling the media, I don't care what y'all think. Y'all idiots, man. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Curry reminds these people more of themselves. He's like an average dude that can just play back. So he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. They're going to praise him more than they should. Reggie Miller, not
I think Kobe was going to get the catapult that Jordan got. You know what happened with Kobe? And I agree with everything you said about Kobe being even with Kobe being polarizing and Kobe giving attitude or whatever. They wanted to hold something over Kobe's head. And when the Colorado situation happened, they could no longer do the full catapulting that they wanted to do with him because they wanted to hold that shit over his head that he kept telling these media people off. They wanted to just hold something over him. Right. But if he never had the Colorado shit, let's be honest, Kobe. This is controversial in my opinion on this. But I think Kobe's catapult minus Colorado would have been even greater than Jordan's.
But the Colorado shit don't do shit but the voice to my point. It's a reminder that this dude always gets his way. He's still cracking white girls. Probably they don't like it. Kobe would have still been. He still would have got the respect he deserved if it would have. You know that.
Yep.
The fact that this was a white woman.
Yeah.
The fact they was like, oh hell no, blase. He, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, all that still is a voice to what I'm saying. Steph Curry, white. Steph Curry's black, right? But his family's so mixed. His dad's mixed and his mom's mixed. They light skinned. That when a white man sees somebody is light skinned, they kind of claim them like they own.
They gravitate toward them more.
Right, and they low key take pride for their accomplishments, so they can see themselves right there, like Patrick Mahomes so much. And Patrick Mahomes had a deep voice. If Patrick Mahomes talked like a nigga, Patrick Mahomes would be getting hated on. But because I don't even think he really talked like that in real life, because his voice sounds like that, and he looks that way, and he acts a certain way, they don't mind giving him the credit he deserves. You know what I'm saying? They don't mind it because they kind of claiming him, even though his father is a pure nigga. They claiming him because he don't act that way. If Stephen Curry was a dark-skinned man, play like that, he wouldn't have no place in the pantheon.
Nah, he wouldn't.
They won't be like that. Abdul Mahmoud Rauf played just like that, but was clutch. They ain't honor him because he was a Muslim. They respect Curry, and I'm not saying this to hurt Curry, because Curry could ball. You're wrong when you say Curry can't ball.
No, he can ball. He's a ball.
His style of play isn't ideal. That's all. He's the only one that's
he can ball. Listen, I don't care if people say. I don't care if people attach Curry in terms of great and greatest, but there's an asterisk on the great and greatest. He's not the great and greatest player like people say. He's a great and greatest shooter. There's a difference with that, because now you're limited to your category and where you belong. Because to be a player, you have to do everything. You have to be all purpose. You have to be offense and defense. Back in our days growing up, man, because we have to say it in our generation, because we're millennials. As millennials, our standard was offense and defense. That's what represented greatness. Everything you could do on the basketball court. Greatness now is one side of the ball. That's why you got Luka Doncic's of the world considered great, because you could be a pedestrian on the defensive end, but as long as you do everything well on the offensive end, you're considered a great player. No, to me, Luka Doncic is a great offensive player, but he's not a great player. To be a great player, you got to do everything.
The matador on defense, man. Oh, exactly. He can't stay in front of nobody.
And that's why the Celtics.
That's his limitations.
That's why the Celtics ran rough shot on him. And that's why. What's his name? Not Jason Tatum, but the other dude, the dark skinned dude. Well, what's his name?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown. That's how much I don't watch basketball these days, and blame it on LeBron James and Steph Curry. That's why I don't remember these basketball players' current name today. It's because of those guys. But Jaylen Brown was able to run roughshod on Luka Doncic because of the fact that Luka Doncic don't play defense. See, and that's the thing. Back in our time, we used to call guys like that. We used to specify what they were. We used to give them specifications. Notice in Jordan's time, Reggie Miller was given a specification. Great three-point shooter. Nobody say he was a great player. They just say he was a great three-point shooter. We specified the hell out of you. Now there is no specification. You could be great on one side, but you're considered a great player. You consider being put on the pantheon. Ain't nobody putting no Reggie Miller on no damn pantheon of greatness. So if Reggie Miller don't get put on the pantheon of greatness, Ray Allen that beat all the Reggie Miller's records don't get put on pantheon of greatness. Why the fuck does Stephen Curry get put on pantheon of greatness? That's so disrespectful.
I told you why. Because he's relatable to media writers who control that shit. That's why.
Exactly.
That's why. But make no mistake about it. You wrong when you say that he's not great. He could play, man.
He's a great shooter.
He could play. He could play. I would have less static for him if he was a better point guard. He's a better shooter than he is a point guard, and his job is to be a point guard. Mm-hmm. He makes up for a lot of deficiency because of the way he shoots the ball, but Stephen Curry gets into a lot of trouble the way he plays.
Yeah, and he makes horrible. He makes horrible late game IQ situations. That's why he don't have. That's why he's only able to have one Finals MVPs instead of all these Finals MVPs he's supposed to have. Because in late game situations, in pressurized situations, he makes a lot of horrible mistakes. Horrible.
See, but when you say that, this motherfucker right here, Richie Rich, this how he can say what he said. It's because Richie Rich know it's not right, but he know what to say to piss you off. Because when you say he only got one Finals MVP, then he can say, well, Kobe only got one Finals MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's not right.
Kobe got two, though.
It's not right because we know Kobe's good, but we have to really take it away from the accolades and just look at the players. At the end of the day, with Kobe handling the ball as much as he handled the ball at two guard, he was less of a liability in the clutch than Curry. Curry, you really in the clutch, you got to take the ball out of his hands and have him run around. Because if he's handling the ball, he'll get that motherfucker away, man.
Yeah, he's a deficiency.
He would.
He's a deficiency.
He'll give it away.
He's a deficiency. Kobe's not a deficiency. Kobe, this is the thing. When people try to, now I know I get extreme with it, but whatever. When people try to
extreme like the word.
When people try to sit there and push Shaq over Kobe, that's when now I have to disrespect Shaq all the way together. And the reason why I got to disrespect Shaq all the way together is because to me, now this is where I get too extreme. I'll admit, but this is my opinion, and it's not true.
You could do it without disrespecting other players. You could do it.
But my truth is this: there's a reason why the NBA. That's the only thing that I agree with the NBA doing. There's a reason why they did away with the center position. They showed you the center position really wasn't that important like that. Because if the center position was so fucking important, then it wouldn't be dependent upon other plays of other fucking positions. I know when I play on the basketball court, when I got a big man down there that's dominant, I just want him to do two things for me: rebound the ball and make the fucking layup. Your job's not difficult. I don't care if you don't do nothing else. You got a big size down there, rebound the fucking ball and fucking make the layup. Your job's there's no difficult, and I have to do all of the work. I gotta play the defense. I gotta bring the ball up the court. I gotta set the tone. I gotta do everything. So when people sit there and talk about Shaq and how important he was, Shaq's importance versus Kobe's importance, when you really look on the scale, it's an 8-2 scenario. Your importance as a center is a 2. My importance is Kobe Bryant is 8. So we're not on the same level.
No, man.
We're nowhere near the same level.
No.
So we're talking about greatness.
Not the same level, but
I know, but when we talk about greatness, it's like, and this is how you could tell how Shaq. You gonna get mad at me when I say this, but
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You just being heavy-handed, man.
Yeah, and I have to. And here's the thing: this is how you could tell Shaq is so not a factor, right? And how his greatness
you can't think he's not a factor.
Because Kobe was able to take Paul Gasol and three-peat. The only reason why Paul Gasol didn't three-peat is because Shaq was just a little bit more mentally tough in the post than Paul Gasol. Could you imagine if Kobe three-peated with Paul Gasol? That would have made Shaq look even this much more minuscule in terms of what he brings to the table.
Kobe wouldn't have three-peated with Paul because Paul's not assertive, man.
Minuscule. Could you
Paul's
imagine?
Not assertive enough.
Paul Gasol went 3 straight. Kobe took Paul Gasol. People forget this shit. Kobe took Paul Gasol 3 straight like he did with Shaq. So really, was Shaq really that important? Because Kobe took Paul Gasol 3 straight NBA finals like he did with Shaquille O'Neal. That's my argument there.
If you're gonna put it like that, then you gotta put LeBron going to 4 straight finals. You gotta put value behind that.
No. You know why that doesn't?
With Shaq, he won 3 straight.
No,
he won 3 straight with Shaq.
You know why you can't use LeBron? You know why you can't use LeBron with that? You can't use LeBron with that because LeBron is the product of everybody else around him that built him up. Kobe's doing this with a Sasha Vujacic, a Jordan Farmar, a Trevor Ariza, come on, man, a Chris Mims. Kobe's doing it with these types of motherfuckers. A Lamar Odom, who's mentally sometimes checked in, sometimes checked out. These are the players that Kobe Bryant's carrying to the NBA championship and beating a Boston Celtics team. People don't even understand how great it takes for you to be to
but
do this, bro.
I gotta push back on something, but if I go in, I'm going too hard. So I'm gonna let Richard say what he gotta say, but I gotta push back on something.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying, man, but it's like you're kind of diminishing what Shaq brought to that team,
I
bro.
diminish everything the motherfucker
You
did.
can't do that.
Listen, let me finish, bro.
I don't agree with that, dog. Shaq was a dominant force, dog. Like you can't knock that, dog. If Shaq wasn't who he was, they don't three-peat, dog. I'm not going to diminish anything. If Kobe was not who he was, they don't three-peat. They both were hot. They both complemented each other well, dog. You know what I'm saying? They both were number one guys on a team. Kobe at first was the as you say, the sidekick, but Kobe grew.
No.
Listen, the first chip. I would say that Kobe. You could say Kobe was the sidekick.
Kobe ain't no Pippen.
The second chip. No, Kobe showed that he was on Shaq's level, and the third chip, Kobe showed that he was on Shaq's level. But the first chip, I can't say that. But Kobe still did his thing.
And to say Kobe need to be on Shaq level, that's when you get disrespectful.
I'm not going to get disrespectful.
Kobe is so way above Shaq's level that they're not even in the same planet. They don't even sit in the same planet.
All right. Let me push back right quick. The reason why people say that is because they zoom in on the finals. They forget the whole ride. The whole ride, Kobe was never a sidekick because the whole ride, Kobe was actually carrying Shaq in the Western Conference Finals, and would have to downgrade because Shaq was going to dominate in the finals. But if you watch the whole playoffs against the teams that mattered, against Sacramento, against
I remember those games. Kobe was putting up ridiculous.
Kobe, it was Kobe. It was Kobe that was the one knocking a dictionary. Shaq was getting his 20 points, his 10 rebounds, but it was Kobe that they couldn't stop. Only when they got to the finals, the style of play changed because it was the easier way to win. And you got to get that to Phil. Phil wasn't trying to stroke nobody's ego. He was like, okay, the easiest way to win is to dump the ball to Shaq. That's how they were going to win. But when it comes to what he knows is saying, is it harder to play guard than it is to play center? I believe it is because center comes more with stature than it does with actual skill.
Exactly.
But hold on. But harder to do don't mean more important. Those things aren't as necessary the same because what you do is harder don't mean what you do is more important. I would say in championship basketball, it's very important for it to have interior defense and to rebound the ball. That's very important. That's the reason why the Lakers lost the first time against the Boston Celtics. They lost off pushbacks because Gasol was getting punked down low.
Yeah. That's why they wouldn't have three-peated.
Kobe treated Shaq and Gasol like kids, overgrown kids. You know what Kobe would tell Shaq? When Shaq would say, give me the ball, he treat him like a parent treat a child. Work. Stop being lazy. He treated Shaq Shaq was not his peer. He treated him like a child on the basketball court.
On top of that, the reason why the Lakers lost against the Detroit Pistons because, believe it or not, Shaq wasn't the dominant force down low like he was supposed to. He couldn't bully Ben Wallace, and Phil Jackson didn't adapt. They were supposed to adapt the scheme, and he didn't adapt. And Shaq wasn't doing what he had to do.
Because
and now Kobe had.
You know what Phil did in that championship? And that's on Phil. That's the championship where I blame Phil. Phil didn't tell Shaq, look, you're not the it. Kobe is the it. Offense gets completely ran through Kobe. You know what Phil kept doing? He kept being stubborn and bullheaded and said, no, let's keep running it through Shaq. That's what he kept saying.
Keep running through Shaq.
Yeah, that team was just a bad matchup for them.
And then want to run it through Kobe when the game
exactly.
But I'll tell you this right now: the Lakers would have ran off a Bulls-like run if Kobe would have been the veteran and Shaq would have been the young guy.
And you know what?
Because Shaq was the hold on. Because Shaq was the veteran and Kobe was the young guy. Shaq's mentality was the mentality of the team.
Right.
If Kobe was the veteran, they all would have been
That you're right.
dogs. Shaq was big, strong, but Shaq wasn't a dog. Ben Wallace, he folded. Ben Wallace weighed what?
Mm-hmm.
Less than Shaq. If he would have
Fact.
Wallace too.
But you and Richie Rich
Kobe was
operate
the guy.
in realities.
Hold
And
on.
y'all always say we got to go by what's in front of us. So if we're going by what's in front of us, and you made a great point based on that asterisk, you made a hellified point. Me and you were in 1,000% agreement that they would have been dogs if Kobe was the veteran. I don't, man, that there's no, you won't get no kickback from me on that. But here's the thing. This is where it falls on Phil Jackson. And this is where me and you agree with Phil Jackson coaching. All Phil Jackson had to say to Kobe and Shaq when sat them down is, if I was Phil, I would have said this to Shaq. I would have really like humbled his ego. Look, you're really not as important as Kobe on the court. Kobe's the guy.
He can't talk
The
to that
offense got to get
that
run through him.
nigga.
The offense got to get run through him, and he's gonna feed you the ball, big man. That's it. If Phil would have established that, because the one thing about Shaq is so big on listening to a coach and going by what the coach says. That's one thing I've always noticed with him. If Phil would have established that from the gate, Shaq would have fall his fucking ass in line. And the Los Angeles Lakers right now, we would have been talking about them having a 5-peat, 6-peat easily.
Yeah,
because you got to understand the responsibility Kobe had to deal with. Kobe had to deal with a two-pronged issue. He had to deal with Phil dumbing down his greatness, and then he had to deal with a big old egotistical dude who wasn't even nowhere near greater than him, telling him, I'm the big brother. Do you know how annoying that is? You're greater than this guy, but you have to dumb down your greatness because you have to appease this guy. That's the most fucking annoying thing to deal with on the basketball court. You don't do nowhere near what I do on the court. You don't bring nothing to the table what I bring on the court, but I have to dumb down my ego to you, and then I have to deal with a coach telling me that I have to consistently do this to appease you. So that's why you saw Kobe revolt the way he did, and that's why you saw Kobe eventually bombed on both of them the way he did. Because eventually, how much can a guy bottle up? How much can a guy take before he erupts like a fucking volcano? That's why you saw every time Kobe went to the media, he said a truth bomb about Shaq, and he said a truth bomb about Phil. He got tired of the bullshit. I don't blame him.
The problem I seen with Phil was, and the reason why Phil and Kobe's dynamic was the way it was, because people got to realize Phil never wanted Kobe. When Kobe first came to the league, remember Phil was still the coach of the Bulls when Kobe came to the league. He said, "I don't agree with guys coming to the league that early because I don't want the He automatically assumed he was going to have to babysit Kobe, not knowing Kobe already carried himself like a grown man. So Phil never wanted Kobe, and he underestimated Kobe. He thought he was going to be able to lean into Shaq being a veteran, but Shaq is a big child.
Exactly.
So he had, and you gotta understand, when you're dealing with white men, they rather deal with the big childlike man. They deal with the man-like man.
Agree with that 1,000%.
Because he knows he could bullshit Shaq and he could manipulate Shaq. He can't manipulate
and that's
Kobe.
why he hated Kobe, because he knew he couldn't run that shit on Kobe.
Kobe had to tell Phil, like, Phil, just tell me what you want to do. Stop trying to manipulate me. I don't need all that extra shit Shaq needed. Just what's the plan? But Phil, being a white man, he don't even want to deal with black men like that. He'd rather deal with a Shaq. That's the reason why he ain't.
And the only reason why he had no choice but to deal with Jordan, because Jordan was already there and established. He would have done that same shit to Jordan
was
too.
already there.
If Phil would have started out with Jordan, he would have done the same shit to Jordan too.
Right. Jordan was already there and already established, so he couldn't do that to Jordan. And at that point, Phil hadn't accomplished nothing in his career. He had no grounding. But when he came to Kobe, he was already a 6-time champion, so he could pull that. Kobe, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is at the end of the day.
You know, when y'all talking like this, I get behind that 1,000%. I know I'm extreme, but I get behind that 1,000%, because in my book, the way that I see it, It's just Phil, if he would have established it from the gate and said, look, this is Kobe's team. I'm telling y'all right now, man, these two guys, I love Jordan and Pippen, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Kobe and Shaq were the two most dominating forces ever. If Shaq would have fell fucking in line and understand that it was Kobe's regime, if Shaq would have done that, these motherfuckers would have won 7, 8 straight. They wouldn't have lost.
The problem with Shaq is Shaq went to college and and the way the frat themselves, big brother, little brother, I get to talk to you and treat you any kind of way until I. And Kobe didn't go to college, and Kobe came up where he was respected as by his dad, and wasn't nobody gonna talk to him any kind of way. And that was the problem. Shaq talked to everybody on that team like they was a shit, and they just went with it.
Yeah.
And Kobe came on the team was like, bro, I don't give a fuck if I'm a rookie or not. You're not talking to me that way.
Yep.
And that was the issue from the jump.
Yep.
That was the issue.
Yep. Well, you're right about that. And here's the thing. It took for Shaq. This is how you can tell Shaq is so slow, right? But he's Big Aristotle, right? It took for Big L Stupido. That's why I call him that. Until he got to the Miami Heat and see the dominance of what Wade brought to the table to be like, and Wade's nowhere even near what Kobe is, right? But because Wade was dominant, oh shit, my life is easy when I have a guy like this. So it took for you to have to leave, and this is the problem with most people. They don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. It took for him to have to realize through Wade that if he would have just done what he did, what did he do with Wade? He came in there and said, "This is Wade's team. It's not my team. Everything get run through Wade." That's the same shit he should have said with Kobe. Kobe's team, not my team. Everything get run through Kobe.
You understand? It's pride.
I mean, it's easy to talk about, you know, if these guys would have done this, if they would have done this. But remember, basketball is part mental too. So these guys, they tapped out in what they were. They were only guys that were only able to get 3 chips as a unit. You know what I'm saying? They still got the 3-peat, but that's who they were. There's egos in basketball. There's a mental edge. At the end of the day, you know, even Jordan and Pippen are beefing now. More Pippen, so Jordan, because he's jealous of what happened after. You know what I'm saying, with the Last Dance and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but Pippen
when they were playing ball
all the way, and that's why they won 6 straight. Pippen
fell in line. They were playing ball. Yeah, let me get to the point. When they were playing ball, that's what they focused on ball, dog. It was all business between those cats. But remember when the Last Dance, when Jordan was talking about how Rodman was in Vegas, he went to go party and all that stuff. Pippen wasn't with the team because he was hurt, and you know he decided to get his injury at the start of the season, and he wasn't ready until the middle of the season. Jordan was like, "Bro, let me go. I gotta go get Rodman." You're like, because Rodman didn't want to come back. He wanted to take a sabbatical. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they had to win those games without Pippen. Him and Jordan had to go. He went and got Rodman and got him right back on track, dog. The goal is us to get on these games and to still win these games until Pippen gets back. That's what it was about with those dudes. It was about basketball and winning, trying being on the same page. At some point, Shaq and Kobe, they got off that page, dog, and they weren't able to.
I don't believe Shaq. I don't believe Kobe ever got that.
I'm talking about as a unit, because they both were beefing with each other.
Kobe never got that. The problem was Shaq. I believe Shaq was always jealous of Kobe, and Shaq always got off page. Kobe never got off page.
If Shaq would have came,
well, he did get off page when he kind of said stuff about them in the media and all that stuff. You know
that's Kobe. That's Kobe revolting. That's Kobe revolting for the bullshit.
I have the perfect response for that. If Shaq was every bit of deserving of being the number one, Kobe would have never challenged him. And Kobe would have just kept playing ball. Shaq was lazy. Shaq was fat. Shaq was demanding, and Shaq wasn't respectable. So Kobe challenged him. Because that's what alphas do. I'm not gonna be subordinate to you when you're not really a number one and you acting like you are.
Exactly.
Shaq was very unprofessional. We can't say Shaq did everything right and Kobe was wrong. Kobe was right to go at him. If I'm supposed to defer to you, you have to be demanding, and you have to deserve that deferment. You don't just get it. Because if not, give it to me. Because I'm the one knocking these niggas dicks to dirt in the Western Conference when you folding. Shaq was folding under the pressure in the Western Conference. It was Kobe carrying him. If I'm going to carry you to the finals, the least you could do is defer to me because you're out of shape.
Exactly.
Shaq said out of his own mouth, I don't get in shape on my time. I get in shape on the company.
Exactly.
Time. What leader does that?
Exactly.
Once that stuff leaked out, man, that was the beginning of the end for them, man. That's because it showed the spark between them.
Here's the thing.
But that doesn't happen on a team where the alpha is the true alpha. Jordan worked on the off time. He didn't get in shape on the time. He worked on the off time. We never seen Jordan out of shape till Jordan was 40.
Exactly.
Shaq was out of shape at 25, 26 years old.
Exactly.
And if it wasn't for Kobe carrying him when he was getting in shape, it wouldn't be where they was at. Kobe gave Shaq more respect than he ever did.
Exactly.
Shaq was the reason why that team didn't get for it, not Kobe. Exactly. Kobe was coming. He was coming ready to go. Shaq was the one that was out of pocket.
Exactly. That's why I said Kobe get zero blame, dog. If you look at their DNA and their identity, Kobe gets zero, man. It's all on Shaq. If Shaq would have stepped up to the plate and be what it was, that's why I disagree with you when you said 3 was their max. No, Shaq didn't play up to par like Shannon Sharp always said. Shannon Sharp said Shaq's problem is discipline. If Shaq disciplined himself, stayed in shape, there's no reason why the Lakers don't win 5, 6, 7. Skip Bayless, those guys are right when they say that shit, man. It's Shaq. Shaq didn't play up to his potential. And he was
2000. What year did the Heat win that? It was it 2004.
Yeah, I think it was 2006.
2004, right? 2006 is when they won. That's the prime example. That's a couple of years. That's 2 years after they lost in the finals in LA. That's a prime example that Shaq could have did that shit the whole time. He refused to do it because he refused to be number 2 to Kobe.
That's what it boils down to, bro. So when you say 3 was their max, how's he winning another one with the Heat? That debunks your 3 is the max nonsense. That means Shaq was being lazy as fuck.
If you ask me, Shaq looked at the 2004 season, and that's when Kobe was coming to his own in the 2004. That's when Kobe was actually, by and large, way better than Shaq. Shaq said, I'd rather lose this finals than win and not be the man. And he stopped playing.
That's why I say Shaq was LeBron before LeBron, because LeBron does that too.
LeBron does the same thing. He folds when he's not going to be the number 1 player. He did that to the Miami Heat the first time they went to the finals. There was no way they were supposed to lose. There was no way. But if they're going to lose and LeBron don't play, LeBron just didn't want to play because he wasn't the best player. He single-handedly threw that shit because he wasn't going to get the finals.
He didn't want to be a Robin. He didn't want to get that stigma of being a Robin. Let's be honest.
Shaq was the issue, man.
Come on, man.
That's why I always tell people, if Kobe was a veteran, if Kobe was the top dog, and Shaq was the Johnny come lately, they would have ran off 5 or 6.
Yep.
They'd have ran off 5 or 6.
Or if it was as the way it is, and Phil Jackson put his foot down and actually used the cachet, because Phil had the cachet. He was coming in as a 6-time champion coach. So whatever he said, those guys would have to tuck ass and listen. If Phil would have just said, look, Shaq, this is Kobe's team. You need to follow his rules. They would have ran off. Shaq would have fell in line. They would have ran off. He wouldn't like it. Shaq wouldn't have liked it. But all Phil would have told him was, did you win with Penny? And then Shaq would be like, yeah, I ain't win with him. You know he's the big L stupid. He would have give that dumbass response. Yeah, I ain't win with Penny. Okay, then. Fall in line with Kobe. And he would have fell fucking in line, man.
Crazy, man.
I'm not gonna lie though, the Pistons, they matched up pretty well with them. They had a dude occupy Kobe. Kobe had to play defense. Kobe had to play. We had to chase.
Well, okay,
listen to me for a second.
They're not supposed to have.
Listen to me for a second. Kobe had to check. Kobe decided to take on the challenge of guarding Rip Hamilton. We know what Rip Hamilton like to do. You got to chase this guy around screens. Rip Hamilton, he don't stop moving. That means that what Rip Hamilton doing was eventually was going to affect Kobe's output on offense. Because if you have to exert all that energy on defense, chasing somebody around, it's going to affect your offensive output. Shaq wasn't as dominant as he was. Ben Wallace was a pretty good defender. But
why wasn't
I don't think
he wasn't in shape? That's why.
That's why, and I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that because it nullifies everything Richie Rich said. Because here's the thing. Here's how it nullifies you. Because if Shaq did what he was supposed to from a discipline standpoint, the Detroit Pistons can't touch the Lakers, bro. This is where Shaq's deficiencies show itself and rear its ugly head. That series, I'm glad you brought up that series. That series showed you why Shaq was beneath Kobe. Because if Shaq would have done everything that he was supposed to, the Lakers would have still beaten the Pistons.
Shaq and Kobe were not going to score all the points.
Shaq shows up in shape, physically dominant. There's no reason physically dominant in shape Shaq is getting done up by Ben Wallace. That doesn't happen.
Their role players didn't perform well in that series. I remember that too.
Their role players were never that good. You know what made them good? You know what made them good? Shaq and Kobe being at their best efficiently, and they getting wide open shots. Exactly. Now their role players are not taking wide open shots. They're taking contested shots because you dump the ball down to Shaq, and Shaq's being guarded by one person.
And he's not at his best. And Shaq's not even at his best.
They used to take a double team to guard Shaq, and Shaq was good at this. Shaq was good at throwing the ball back out of the post. Yep. Now Shaq is getting guarded by one person easily. And not only is he guarding him, he's pushing him out the paint.
Exactly.
So Shaq's not even catching the ball 3 feet into the paint and turning around and dunking because he's not even bodying a dude 100 pounds smaller than him because he's not in shape.
Out of shape. He couldn't even barbecue chicken Ben Wallace. Come on, he was supposed to barbecue chicken this dude. He couldn't do that because he was out of shape.
I'll give you this. Ben Wallace is a great defender, so he wasn't supposed to do him like he do everybody else, but he was supposed to be able to have a better output than what he did. That affected everything on offense. That affected everything because now they can just double team and triple team Kobe.
Well said, man.
I
couldn't have said it any better. That series, I'm glad you brought that up, Richie Rich, because you brought that up to your own detriment. That series showed.
You got to go watch that series again.
That series showed why Shaq is everything I told you he is. Because if Shaq would have showed up, we would have a problem in that damn series. Shaq didn't fucking show up. That's why they lost that damn series. This is why it's important.
The Lakers put all their eggs in baskets and Gary Payton and Karl Malone. And once Karl Malone got hurt, that was it.
The Lakers is Kobe, Shaq, and then everybody else. That's what that team was. So if you have Kobe, but you don't have Shaq, come on now, you're losing your other half. Kobe and Shaq, and then everybody else. Shaq didn't show up.
What Rich was saying would make more sense to me if they were playing against a more formidable offensive team where they got to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, like the San Antonio Spurs.
Hold on. They was playing against the Detroit Pistons, who was winning games 89 and 85,
they had elite defense.
91. Right. They was playing against a team who had to rely solely on defense. They wasn't really putting up numbers like that. We gotta be honest. Shaq did not show up defensively or offensively. Like he, outside of his side of factor, he was not a factor as he used to be. And had he been 85% of what he used to be, that's a whole different series. Now, them knowing that what they were doing was they were fronting Shaq, pushing Shaq out of the paint. I remember this shit, and they were pushing they're playing a zone pretty much. They created a zone for Kobe, number one. And they were meeting Kobe at the 3-point line, extended, already double teaming him at the 3-point line, and half extended because they didn't have to worry about Shaq.
Exactly.
If they had to worry about Shaq, they can't play like that.
If they had to worry about Shaq, now you know what happens? You know what happens? Kobe gets to go off on them because Shaq puts the pressure in the post. So Shaq fucked it up.
Listen, man.
everything.
Shaq fucked it up.
Listen, it would have been hard. It would have been hard. It would have been hard because, like you said, Shaq wasn't the same player he used to be. I remember he was coming off surgeries. He had to have his knee drained.
Shaq was
choice because he was undisciplined, man.
Man.
Blowing up in weight, man. He was at his highest. Even Phil said it. Phil said, "Why are you coming in damn near almost 400 pounds when the year before you was 325?" Didn't Shaq tell you, "I get in shape when I'm ready to get in shape"? So you put on 75 pounds of fat, and you think you just gonna muscle the dude because you're over 400 pounds, but this guy's pure muscle in basketball shape? That's not happening. 325 Shaq, 3-peat Shaq, Lakers. Ben Wallace is not touching that Shaquille O'Neal. That Shaquille O'Neal is dominating him.
Barbecue chicken.
All on Shaq, bro.
But here's the thing, though. You gotta understand, Kobe is in his prime at this moment. If he gets a one-on-one, defense on him, they're cooked. He's in his prime. He's in his prime. Yeah. Shaq don't have to be. He only have to be the old Shaq. He only got to be the Shaq that D Wade had.
Yeah, he couldn't even be that Shaq.
He was the Shaq that D Wade had, which is a little better than Paul Gasol. Kobe still win.
That Shaq was averaging 13 points in the finals, man.
Listen. You're going by the stat. I'm going by the effort.
Hey, that was a good one. That was a good one, Richie Rich. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good one.
That's all, listen, you're playing against Detroit. You don't need to score 30 points. Detroit only averaged 85 points a game.
Yep.
You don't need to score 30 against Detroit. They're not that good. Detroit wasn't that good.
I agree with both points because what Ross is saying is that Shaq is in shape, dog.
That Shaq is in shape.
In fucking shape. That's what you.
But I remember that Detroit team being an elite defensive team. I remember the finals between the Spurs, man, where it went 7 games, and it was an all-out ugly series, man, based off defense, man. I'm like, man, to some people that series was boring, man, but to me, I was excited watching that series.
Yeah,
seeing the defense in that series, man.
And who won? The
Spurs.
And why they win? Because Tim Duncan ass was in shape.
In fucking shape.
That's why they won. Tim Duncan didn't get set out like Shaq did.
So basically the moral of the story is Detroit Pistons gets enough respect that in order for you to beat them, you got to be in shape. That's it.
You got to be in shape.
Be in shape.
You got to be. Because if you playing against a Larry Brown coach team,
Spurs had a deeper team.
You got to be.
But their point is, even if they were deep or not, if the Spurs came in out of shape, that Detroit Pistons teams would have gave them hell, pure hell, like the Lakers, pure hell.
Yeah, they would have
lost.
They would have lost. Think about, people don't understand is the reason why I put Tim Duncan over Shaq because Tim Duncan was the consummate professional.
Yes.
And he came to play every game. Yeah. He was consistent.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, now I super agree that he's over. Duncan's over him,
and he was just as great as a defender as Shaq was, and was a better offensive player. If Shaq didn't have size, he wouldn't be near as good as Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan could shoot the J, and he could play down low, and he had defense. If Kobe would have had Tim Duncan, he would have never lost in the finals.
I saw Kobe do an interview so many years later when he retired, and they asked Kobe Bryant straight up, what's your take on Shaquille O'Neal, blah, blah, blah. You know what Kobe said? If the motherfucker could just be in shape. That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. We would have 7 or 8 rings. That tells me he was still frustrating about it. He was still mad about it.
Even Shaquille O'Neal said that. He think it's funny. He's like, yeah, man, if I took basketball more seriously, and I hate people who talk like this because basically they're making an excuse.
Exactly.
If I took it more seriously and I would have practiced my freak, I would have been one of the greatest. I would have been top 3. Man, if a dog had a square ass and shit bricks, man, who cares? What you did was you did come in shape and you missed all them damn free throws.
Exactly.
And you said you knew you could do that because you had Kobe.
Yep.
That's not fair, man.
That's why Shannon Sharp got on That's why Shannon Sharp got on Shaq, because Shannon Sharp was a consummate professional. That was, you never say Shannon Sharp wasn't in shape. Heck,
Never.
old Shannon Sharp was wearing out Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis first got into the league, because Shannon Sharp stayed fit. And he said, look, man, I don't even have nowhere near the greatness that Shaq had. But if Shaq had the discipline that I had, oh my gosh. Even Kobe said it, man. If Shaq was disciplined, if Shaq had my discipline, we're talking about the greatest of all time.
I tell people all day long, when we talk about the greatest centers, I don't care that Shaq got more championships than Olajuwon. Shaq is not better than Olajuwon, man.
No, he's not.
And if Kobe had Akeem Olajuwon, he would have never lost in the finals ever.
Kobe would have had Olajuwon against that Detroit Pistons. They would have Olajuwon would have been doing foot fadeaways on Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace wouldn't know what hit him. Those muscles would not stop those foot fadeaways, bro.
You want to know why they get cooked? Because Olajuwon don't got to play in the post. Olajuwon shoot threes.
Yep.
This motherfucker will have to come all the way out to the free throw line to get cut.
Exactly.
And what that mean when your center don't got to play down low if you don't have to? That mean the lane wide open, man.
Exactly.
They would have cooked them. But because Shaq big ass taking up all that space, they ain't doing nothing down low. They get the triple and double team Kobe.
So let's be honest. Who's the fault here? When we really are peeling the layer of the onion, you really think it was Kobe or was it Shaq? It was Shaq, man.
The one that when they separated went back to 3 championships again with a lesser player was the one that they should have been going through the whole time.
Exactly. And you know how you can tell who was, you know how you can tell who was the problem and who wasn't? I always bring this up. What did Shaq do when he left with Kobe, and what did Kobe do when he left with Shaq? Shaq was only able to go to one more finals because he found a borderline Kobe-like player. Kobe, on the other hand, without Shaq, was able to go to the finals 3 straight trips. What does that tell you?
With a lesser player than
Shaq.
By far.
Come on, man.
Because we're not going to act like Shaq is comparable to the D Wade.
Yeah.
D Wade just dropped a 37 in the finals going crazy.
Exactly. Come on, man. Like Richie, you just got to be honest about this, man. It's all Shaq. This ain't got nothing to do with no Kobe.
Rich is saying,
real, that's what it is.
Nah, he's saying what happened. What happened was, did Kobe get tired of chasing around Hamilton? Yeah, but Kobe always had to chase around the best players team. That never cost him.
Kobe had to chase around Hamilton and Phillips. You know how hard it is.
To be fair, Shaq was much older, more hampered by then. He was. No. I'm not saying Kobe
played better 2 years later in 06 with the Heat, though. How did he play better in 06 in the finals with the Heat than he did in 04? That's ridiculous, man.
You're right.
He played better in 04. He averaged more points in 04.
That don't mean he was playing better output.
Because he averaged more points, he was playing better? Are you serious, Richie Rich? You're talking to us here.
He had a better output in 04.
He was way more efficient in 04 than he was. He was way more efficient with Wade than he was with Wade was taking way more. He was more efficient. Basically, when he got the ball, he did more with it. Yeah, he might have had more points in 04, but how many times did he get the ball taken away from him? How many times did he get the ball blocked in? No,
Bill Wallace was
when he was away, he was more aggressive and he had more energy, man. If Kobe had that sack, he could have done more with that sack.
He would have done way more.
He was getting all those looks in 04 and wasn't doing shit with him, man.
If Kobe had an 06 Shaq, they would have beat the Pistons in 7 games. They would have beat them in 7. It would have been a 7-game series because Shaq ain't Shaq, but they would have beat the Pistons 7 games.
And the reason why Shaq was because Shaq wasn't that old. The reason why Shaq was his own doing because he was out of shape. He did that to his own body. If you're always out of shape, your body's gonna start breaking down as if you were an older man. That's exactly. These motherfuckers that's 25, 26, that's barely getting around, it's because they fat, man, or they malnourished. They either fat or they're malnourished and not taking care of themselves.
Yep,
if
that's
you
true,
take
man.
care of yourself, your body's not going to break down. Shaq didn't take care of himself. He's the reason why, man.
Well said, man.
He hated
it. Come on, Richie. Rich, you got to admit that, dog. Come on, man. You got to admit that shit, bro. I know you playing devil's advocate, but you got to admit, come on, man.
So let's be honest. If Kobe was the same way Shaq was, and would have been leaving Gasol to fend for himself, the Lakers would have been shit. If Kobe was lazy and coming in out of shape, the Lakers would have been nothing with Gasol at center.
And here's how you know. Here's how you know it's a double standard. Could you imagine if Kobe did all of those same things Shaq did? You know how much the media would have been riding Kobe right now if Kobe was out of shape and Kobe didn't do what he was supposed to. You understand the level of blame Kobe would be getting right now? This is how you could tell Kobe is so polarizing. Could you imagine if Kobe didn't show up the way Shaq didn't show up? Shaq didn't show up and he still gets some kind of credit. Kobe didn't show up, they would have been putting all the blame on Kobe. They would have been making Shaq paint. They would have painted Shaq out like he was an angel, man.
All of it.
Kobe became polarizing until after the Colorado thing. But before that, Kobe was getting all the commercials. Kobe was going to be the media darling.
Kobe was polarizing. Kobe was polarizing on that team.
Yes, he
Kobe was polarizing on that team because Shaq was painting a picture on the media to say that Kobe was a selfish basketball player on that team. You gotta go to
research. Kobe was about to become the face, man. I remember that.
We're not talking about it from a. I agree with you on that part. From the NBA standpoint, Kobe wasn't polarizing, but on the Los Angeles Lakers, he was polarizing because Shaq was so jealous of Kobe that he was having teammates basically ride against Kobe because he kept saying Kobe's selfish. Every time Kobe would score a 30-point game, 40-point game, Shaq scored less than him. Shaq would turn the team against Kobe, man. Kobe was polarizing on his very team. Even Rick Fox, all those guys mentioned it. It was like, man, you know, we didn't really like Kobe because of Shaq. Why do you don't like Kobe? Because Shaq was painting a narrative on that team. And it goes back to that fraternity nonsense that Ross was talking about with Shaq. I'm big brother, you little brother. Big brother's supposed to listen to big brother. All that nonsense, man. He was trying to paint Kobe as something that Kobe wasn't on the team when Kobe was really about the team, bro.
For real, man.
That's it, man. That's all I have to say, man. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add to this?
Nah, not at all, man. I don't.
Richie Rich, man, thank you for playing devil's advocate. Thank you for not agreeing with everything that we had to say and for you sticking to your guns with this. We appreciate that. But I ain't going to lie, man. At the end of the day, you still got cooked.
he don't believe that shit. Yeah, I would say he got cooked, man. He made some great points. I just think he portrayed things and how things actually went down. They aren't identical at all, and I believe Shaq cost the Lakers more, and I believe it was purposely done because the better the Lakers get, the older Shaq get. That means the change in the guard has to happen. That means a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson situation has to happen, and Shaq didn't want to be a Kareem. He didn't want to, because if Magic Johnson doesn't get as good as he gets, as fast as he gets, Kareem is still labeled the GOAT.
Facts.
But because Magic Johnson, the change in the guard happened, Magic Johnson looked differently now than Kareem. And really, Kareem has a better career than Magic Johnson. Shaq didn't want that to happen to him, so Shaq ensured it didn't happen to him.
Yeah, he's self-sabotage.
Yeah, I believe he did that shit on purpose.
And we can talk about that on another live in the future, that Shaq was LeBron before LeBron. So really, LeBron is the new Shaq. I think the world needs to know that.
He ran away from who runs away from a number one team in the Eastern Conference? You're the number one team. Why are you going somewhere else? He was scared of that pressure.
Yep.
He was scared.
Yep.
And you ran over to LA. You thought it was going to be easier because Jordan wasn't over there. That's why he did that, man. He a coward, man.
Exactly.
He a coward,
man. I agree that Shaq cost the Lakers some titles because of his terrible free throw shooting, terrible form, and his ability to not stay conditioned in the latter years of when they were contending. I totally agree with that. I'm not gonna
Right,
go and say because he did. He did.
right.
He was the main reason. You know what I'm saying? If he was on point, tip top shape, and worked more on his form, his free throw shooting form, Lakers left chips on the board. Uh,
Right.
with that, that was a factor in them losing some of those championships. But I believe both of them could have worked on their relationship better. They probably weren't talking to each other, probably avoiding each other, and that
Yeah.
probably affected the morale of the team. Like it brought discord to the team. They could have worked on that with each other of I and I. You know what I'm saying? But from that point, yeah, Shaq affected the team.
Yeah.
If he would have did what he was supposed to do, maybe Kobe would have met him respected him more.
Right.
So this is why I say that it's kind of hypotheticals when we say that, because you gotta guys have personalities. People are people at the end of the day, and there's gonna be baggage when you bring these teams together. Somebody's gonna act a certain way. It's gonna have to take somebody else to be the bigger guy.
I get
And
that.
a lot of these situations, guys don't want to be the bigger guy. Everybody have an ego, and if you get offended a certain way, most of the time, the other person is gonna let things ride. They let the beef ride, and that's how things don't get accomplished. So in these situations, somebody's always gonna have to be the bigger guy, man, and they're
I
gonna
feel,
have to sacrifice.
I feel like if Shaq's only setback was his ego, then Kobe could have got around that. But I feel like Kobe couldn't get around the fact that Shaq was lazy and unprofessional. And that's a lot to ask somebody to get around. You want me to
Yeah,
be the bigger man when this guy is lazy and unprofessional? That's something I shouldn't have to deal with. They're all getting paid to be athletes, and athletes are paid to be what? Athletic. And athletic people are paid to be what? In shape. You're getting paid to do this. I shouldn't have to be the bigger man to someone who's not fulfilling their job description and relying solely on talent. I shouldn't have to do that when I'm busting my ass. So to expect to say that he should have been a bigger man is not right. Shaq is the adult. Shaq is the grown man here. These problems that he's bringing shouldn't even be a factor.
that's true.
How is it you're not? You're a grown man. How's it? You the one with the college. I came out of high school. How am I more professional than you? The shit that Kobe had to go through, he shouldn't even have had to go through. It wasn't normal shit that we can't get along. It was shit that pretty much majority of people want to be able
Yep.
to deal with.
My bad.
We just can't get along. He thinks I'm his big brother when I'm not. I don't like that. Him not being in shape and purposely saying I'm not gonna guard the house if I don't get my way, I won't play defense. That's
Yeah.
childish shit. That he's went on record saying if the big dog don't eat, if I'm not the main person, then I'm not gonna play defense and guard the house. That's basically telling you I will self-sabotage if I don't get my
Exactly.
way. Who
Yeah.
deals
Who
with
does
that?
that?
That's impossible to deal with. Like
And
you know
that's
what I'm
why
saying?
that's why
And
Kobe
that he
decided to go out there on the media and have his own media crew and say what he said. He got tired of this shit, man. You get tired of shit like that, man, after a while. It's like, okay, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Shaq used to have, and this is the problem that I had with Phil. Phil had a book called Uncoachable. He made a book about Kobe, but he couldn't make a book about all of Shaq's misgivings. Shaq would come to Lakers practice with an excuse every fucking day. Oh, I got late because there was a chicken, and the chickens was in front of my vehicle. So that's why I was late to practice. Then the next day, oh, I got late because the ice cream truck was in front of me and I had to give kids some money. Are you fucking kidding me? These are your excuses coming to late to Lakers practice. It got to a point where Phil was already making a tally on how many excuses. This was actually in a Lakers Tribune article on Phil bringing up these excuses that Shaq made. How come Phil does this in an article, but Phil doesn't do this in a book? Why doesn't he make a book about all of the Shaq's misgivings? 'Cause I'm sure he had all of Shaq's misgivings, but he only talked about Kobe's misgivings. Come on,
Because
man.
you want to know why? Because Phil wanted to sell books, and a book about Shaq is interested as a book about Kobe.
Facts.
Because in reality, he probably has shit to say about everybody he coached. Because everybody comes with shit that you coach. This shit that he ain't like about Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan's too likable to make a book about him. Kobe wasn't likable because half the hood didn't like Kobe because he had a daddy.
Exactly. Woo.
They forget that Michael Jordan had a daddy too. But Michael Jordan's daddy just passed.
Great point.
Niggas didn't like Kobe because he had a father. I remember saying that shit. People like, nah, you can't really give Kobe the respect because Kobe had a dad that was in the league and he taught him everything. Iverson was better because he did it without a pops. Like niggas was giving Iverson props over Kobe because he came from a broken home. That's not how you supposed to come. You're not supposed to have a broken home.
Exactly.
That's no reason. That shit was ridiculous. I remember saying, fuck Kobe, man. That nigga had a dad. Iverson got out the mud. Like, what? No, Iverson had an irresponsible parents who didn't stay together. That's all that means.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not to knock him. I don't know why his parents didn't stay together, but that's just the facts. The broken family doesn't mean someone's a better basketball player because they had to go through more. Who's to say that Kobe didn't have a heart because his dad was already a professional and he was expected to be perfect? Exactly. Think about that. Kobe was expected. When Kobe came to the league, he didn't get the he's a rookie. They was on Kobe ass because his father was already professional. He didn't get that pass for being a rookie.
We know that because Dale Harris wouldn't even play him.
He wouldn't even play him. He's like, fuck this thing. I don't give a fuck if your dad was in the league. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes a game. Yep. And how you supposed to develop with 2 minutes a game? Think about that. So this nigga, the reason why Kobe got so good so much because Kobe was playing basketball when he wasn't playing, because he wasn't playing in the league. Yeah. It's because he was practicing. That's what made him that good. He wasn't getting no tick in the league.
Yep.
They'll give that nigga 5 minutes a game max when he first came to the league. They get him bad. But at the end of the day, that goes to show you. That's why I say Kobe gets in my top 5 off his arc alone because we'll never say again in NBA history. I'm almost certain there'll never be a guy who started off on the bench to be as great as Kobe Bryant was. It will never happen.
Never, dog. Never.
It'll never happen.
There's a reason. There's a reason why Richie Rich had a wallpaper of Kobe Bryant for years. And you know why you have that shit. I don't even need to tell you. I came to the house one time. This was a guy who used to tell me, man, Shaq was more important than Kobe. And then I guess when Kobe started winning the championships, he changed his wallpaper, and I saw Kobe on there. I said, okay, now I understand why I see it. He finally started putting 2 and 2 together. Why? He's like, man. And then I remember he told me that. I almost cried that day when he said it. He's like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. When you look at the man's body of work, you look at his highlights. See, and this goes back to what you always talk about, Ross. And this is why you can never compare LeBron to Jordan and Kobe. Because when LeBron leaves, right, you're not going to be able to find highlights on LeBron. There's not going to be no highlights of him. But Jordan and Kobe, you can always go on YouTube and see all of their highlights. Their highlights are everywhere.
Mm-hmm. He knows got it wrong. It was when Kobe and Shaq broke up. And then Kobe had to go through those struggle years. Yeah. And that's when I appreciated Kobe more because I really got to watch more of him. And I saw the stuff that he was doing on the court. I was like, damn, man. Kobe doing some elite stuff, man. Like, damn, this stuff don't look like no basic stuff. This stuff look like some Mozart, Beethoven type stuff on the court, man. Mm-hmm. You got to appreciate
it. Yeah, that body of work, man. Yeah. That shit, but it's good. It takes some people longer, and it took you longer to catch it, and that's fine. But me and Ross, we've been catching that shit from day one. We knew what he was doing from day one. I remember when he locked up T-Mac, and at the end of the game, they asked Kobe Bryant, "How was you able to score so many points and then lock up T-Mac?" and this is what Kobe said. That was when I first liked Kobe, man. He said, "Call me Geppetto." If you know who Geppetto is, and you understand the history behind Geppetto, you don't even need to say nothing else. He said, "Call me Geppetto," and I figured out what he meant by that. Basically, what he was saying is, "I can do everything. I'm ambidextrous." That's basically what he's telling you.
And see, Richie Rich is not a go against the grain guy unless he ain't got no choice. Richie Rich is the type of guy, he can see that there's greatness in you and that you're capable of doing something, but you're not getting anything until you do it.
Yeah, if you got that motherfucker thumbed up.
Then he'll be like, then he'll say something like, I always knew this motherfucker was great. Because he know it, but he ain't giving you shit until you do it.
That's him.
How he is right now, kind of like just blah about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, great, blah, blah, blah. Let Lamar Jackson win the fucking Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And Rich would be like, man, listen, ain't nobody fucking with Lamar Jackson, blah, 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 this and the third. Because he did it. And now that he did it, he feel boisterous and say, fuck everybody now.
You not grow up with him, and to know him like that, in and out like that, that's a lot, man. That's him to the T.
I know.
That's him to the T, boy.
He's not gonna put his neck on the line for you until you show him some shit. He's not just gonna do that because he ain't doing it. Me and you will give advances and loans and pre-equity on people beforehand, but Richie Rich ain't doing none of that shit. Hell no. And I told my uncle that. I told my uncle in 1998. I said, man, Kobe gonna win a lot of championships like Jordan. Watch. He said, man, now he's just a fake ass Jordan. He ain't gonna do. I said, watch. I guarantee you, he ain't get 6, but he got 5.
So now you talking to your uncle. Now, what's the conversation?
What? He talking about he don't remember that shit. I don't remember that. I ain't never say nothing about Kobe. I always do. Yeah, okay, man.
They always do that shit with Kobe. They never remember. They never remember with Kobe. Ain't that funny? They never remember this.
Well, because when somebody make you eat your words like that, it's hard. It's called what's it called? I said, what's that? Dissonance, cognitive dissonance. Eat your words a certain way. You don't want to remember.
No, you don't remember that shit.
You don't want to remember you was ever that wrong. Colin Cowherd going through that shit now. He trying to act like he never said all that shit about Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
When Lamar first came to the league, he was talking cash money shit about Lamar Jackson. Now he is biggest defender.
He slipped up on Joy Taylor when he was talking about when he kept making body references with her 2 titties and 2 this. Now they coming at him saying, "Did you sleep with her?" He's now holding his finger up like, I don't know what y'all talking about. But then they keep playing him saying 2 titties, 2 states.
If people don't understand it, bro, Joy Taylor, listen, think about this shit. I'm gonna say this and I'm through. The real reason why Jason Whitlock hate Joy Taylor is because she fucked everybody but him.
Hey, that's the mic drop right there. His ass is mad because of that, bro. And I'm like, why he got such an issue with this, man? It's because he didn't get no ass. Because if he got ass, he wouldn't be talking about it.
He ain't get the crack. That's why.
Woo. Man, this was a hell of a live, man. I appreciate both of y'all, man, as always. Anything else y'all want to say?
All right, man. Nah, I'm through.
Hey, Richie Rich, man, you truly proved yourself once again. You don't back down from shit, but hey, I was impressed that Ross ain't grow up with you, and he know that about you, boy. Your ass don't give no motherfucking shit until they earn that shit, bro. That's you.
Oh,
that's you. That's you. That's you, and I gotta give you that. I wish I was like that sometimes too, but hey, man, I am who I am, so it is what it is. It's been real. It's been easy.